step into the day with the dawn ringing in my ears. Oh, I tune to my TV show. No better way, I gotta get myself into gear. Let's go. Oh, and I feel good today with my wake up in the morning espresso. I feel good today. It's my feel good breakfast show.
Well, good morning and welcome to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Can you believe we are already on the 2nd day of June? This is Thursday. This year is flying by.
I know. It's Klein Vrydag, everybody. We are setting the tone for the rest of the day. Thank you so much for choosing to start your morning with us and for joining us this morning. You certainly made the right decision. That being said, we are continuing our conversations during Child Protection Week. Now, on Tuesday, we spoke about their health, and today we're going to be speaking about their safety in the world.
And very, very important, we need to look after our little ones. And first up, we're going to discuss the gun violence happening across the waters in the USA and how we can cultivate a safer community overall. And then we also will be linking up with the Department of Transport and Public Works and chat about car safety. And if you listen carefully, you may win yourself a car seat for you and your child. I think I've seen so many kids in the car not wearing their seatbelt or in a car seat. So this is going to be a very, very important topic.
But the best part is that we get to connect with you for the next 3 hours. So all you have to do is sit back, relax, and enjoy. And one person to get us up to speed with what is happening on the social media platforms is Mr. Raul de Mornay. Good morning, sir.
Thank you. Look how beautiful these two look early in the morning. I mean, come on, what is that to wake up to? Nothing but goodness. And of course, thank you, Mzansi, for waking up with us and choosing to spend your morning with your Feel Good Breakfast Show. And of course, we promise to bring you all the magic that you absolutely deserve and keep the conversation flowing. And of course, you heard that theme for this morning was Child Safety and Child Protection Week. And that's why we're chatting to you on social media this morning and finding out from you the following question, right? So exactly, how do you teach your child about seatbelts and road safety? Now, we're wrapping up Child Protection Week and discussing child safety tips. So send your WhatsApp voice notes and photos or videos to 063-408-8863. And of course, don't forget to use the hashtag Expresso Show. I was just thinking, it would be quite cool to teach your kid in the form of like a song or something catchy like that, you know, like you can create a little jingle. Every time you get in the car, you can sing it. I don't know the words yet. Maybe I'll get back at you with that, but maybe you've got an even better idea. Let us know. Come through on our social media channels because yes, Mzansi, we love chatting to you wherever you are in the country or the continent or even the world. Who knows? Come through, of course, and for right now, though, Jamie Lee Dombeck is standing by. It's time to deliver the latest when it comes to the news and the rest of the magic on the show. We'll see you later.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nature Boy. Starting on the national front this morning, the City of Cape Town has passed its draft budget for the 2022-2023 financial year and is pushing for more powers to be devolved from the national government, including energy production and policing and crime prevention. At least 8 billion rand will be spent on water and sanitation infrastructure in the next 3 years and 490 million rand on coastline rehabilitation. Now, some 2.8 billion rand has been set aside for housing over the following 3 years for informal settlement upgrades, support for backyard dwellers, as well as social housing. Then a light aircraft crash landed yesterday on the R44, one of the busiest routes in the Western Cape between the student town of Stellenbosch and Somerset West, forcing motorists to weave out of its way in the process. When paramedics, the Western Cape Fire Department and Metro Rescue arrived on the scene, the badly damaged aircraft was lying in the middle of the busy road. Now, 2 men were sitting close by. One was seriously injured, but the other one's injuries were minor. They were treated on the scene and taken to hospital. Then looking to news on the international front, a shortage of oil refineries across sub-Saharan Africa, coupled with soaring crude prices because of the war in Ukraine, has left countries dangerously short of fuel supplies and causing queues at filling stations. Now, the surge in prices comes in tandem with a spike in the cost of food after Russia invaded Ukraine, affecting millions of people already living in precarious conditions. Refineries across sub-Saharan Africa combined can process 1.36 million barrels of oil a day. Well, in theory, but with many out of action, only 30% of that capacity was used last year. Then Russia has accused the US of seeking to prolong the war in Ukraine after President Joe Biden announced he would supply Kyiv with new long-range missiles. The Kremlin said the US was intentionally adding fuel to the fire with the deliveries. Meanwhile, the German government has promised to send an air defense system to Ukraine. Chancellor Olaf Scholz said the system was the most modern Germany had and would enable Ukraine to defend an entire city against Russian air attacks. Now, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has slammed Biden's announcement. Then Kunle Adeniyi of Nigeria has finished the arduous journey from London to Lagos on a motorbike in his campaign aimed at raising awareness and funds to end polio in Africa. Now, the 44-year-old arrived in Lagos to a tumultuous welcome after covering some 12,000 kilometers across 14 countries in just 40 days. He used the journey to give back to society by educating women and children along the route about polio in Africa. Many people offered to donate to the cause through the Rotary Club. Adeniyi crossed the English Channel into France, passed through several Spanish towns before crossing the Mediterranean on a ferry via the Straits of Gibraltar. He also disembarked in Tangier, Morocco, then went on to Marrakesh before crossing to Mauritania. Then it was on to Senegal, Mali, Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Togo, as well as Benin before arriving in Lagos. His preparation took him a year and included identifying hospitals as well as police stations on the route. Now, physically, Adeniyi was quite up to the task as he had previously cycled from Lagos to Ghana and twice climbed Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania as well. That being said, that is where I leave your 6 o'clock news headlines. We will have another report for you on the top of the hour, but right now it's time to have a first look at the sports.
Thank you so much, Jamie. And again, I want to just pay attention to that story you just mentioned. Some athletic achievement right there, obviously crossing that incredible distance. So well done there. But of course, it's time to carry on with the rest of the sport headlines. And starting off with the soccer action that took place last night, Lionel Messi stole the show as Copa America holders Argentina powered to a 3-0 win against European champions Italy in the final is the Cima at Wembley. Now, inspired by Messi, Argentina raced into a 2-goal lead in the first half of the prestigious friendly thanks to strikes from Lautaro Martinez and Angel Di Maria. Now, Paulo Dybala also capped Argentina's rout, but after a disappointing season with Paris Saint-Germain, otherwise known as PSG, by his sky-high standards, it was the sight of Messi back to his imperious best that took the spotlight. Now, the 34-year-old's eye-catching display featured 2 assists and was worthy of his rare appearance at one of football's great stadiums. Now, sticking to soccer action, the Ukraine are 1 game away from qualifying for the World Cup after beating Scotland 3-1 in a playoff semi-final in Glasgow in their first competitive match since the country was invaded by Russia. Now, Andriy Yarmolenko, Roman Yaremchuk and Artem Dovbyk scored the goals for Ukraine to set up a playoff final away to Wales on Sunday for a place in Qatar later this year. Now, the match had been moved from March, just weeks after the war began, but to give Ukraine the chance to fulfill the fixture. Now, Scotland had been unbeaten in 8 games, but rarely threatened a response to keep alive their hopes of reaching a first World Cup since 1998. Now we move over from our soccer action back to the courts in tennis. Now Iga Swiatek powered into the Roland Garros semi-finals as a comfortable victory over American Jessica Pegula extended the world number 1's winning streak to 33 matches. Now the Polish star cruised to a 6-3 and 6-2 win on court Felipe Chatrier to set up a last 4 meeting with Dario Kasatkina. Now, she reached her maiden Grand Slam semi-final with a 6-4 and 7-6 victory over fellow Russian Veronika Kudermetova. Now, in the men's draw, Casper Ruud advanced to his first Grand Slam semi-final as well after beating Holger Rune in 4 sets. Now, Ruud will meet 2014 US champion Marin Cilic for a place in Sunday's final. Now, heading to some cricket action and all the way in England, where they have recalled veteran pace bowlers James Anderson and Stuart Broad to their side for the first test against New Zealand at Lord's starting today, while giving a debut to Durham quick Matthew Potts. Now, the pair are England's 2 most successful bowlers of all time, with a combined 1,177 wickets between them, but were both controversially left out of the squad for a 1-0 series loss to the West Indies earlier this year. Now, Potts gets his chance ahead of fellow squad member Craig Overton, having taken 35 wickets for Durham in his opening 6 county championship matches. Well, that's all the news that I have for you when it comes to sport. We'll touch on that in another hour, but for now, Zoe is standing by to deliver you with the latest when it comes to the weather.
Thank you, Ryle. Well, we're also starting off with a little bit of concerning news. The UN and humanitarian agencies have warned that millions of people face severe hunger in the Horn of Africa as the worst drought in more than 40 years could extend to a 5th consecutive failed rainy season. The March-May rainy season has been the driest on record, devastating livelihoods and deepening a humanitarian emergency in Ethiopia and parts of Kenya, including a risk of famine in Somalia. And there's a risk that the October-December rainy season could also fail. Claire Nulles, spokesperson for the World Meteorological Organization, said drought has combined with a global rise in food and fuel prices exacerbated by the war in Ukraine to impact millions of people across the continent. An estimated 16.7 million people currently face acute food insecurity in East Africa, and that figure could increase to 20 million by September. Nulles added that they are extremely concerned that the situation is set to get even worse. Well, that's where we leave that news for you. We'll certainly bring you an update. We now turn our attention to your sunrise views, and this is always a breath of fresh air. This is where we showcase those sunrise images you share via the Expresso WhatsApp and Facebook pages. And Pende from Anand Pende from Tropica captured this cloud-filled sky with hues of red and orange lighting up the sky. And then Terry van der Merwe woke up slightly earlier to capture the sunrise beginning, of course, in the distance at the break of dawn. Absolutely gorgeous. And we also want to remind you that if you would love to share your sunrise images with us, you can now simply WhatsApp it to our WhatsApp line. That number is 063 408 8863, or you can head on over to the Expresso Facebook page where you're also welcome to share those sunrise photos. Let's get into your temperatures for the day. A sunny day ahead in Polokwane, a low of 3, a high of 20. Mbombela 7, 22. A sunny day in Pretoria, 6 is your low, 20 your high. Johannesburg cooler, 4 is your low, 18 your high. Mahikeng 3, reaching a high of 21. Klerksdorp, your low is 0, your high 20. Kimberley 1 with a high of 19. Bloemfontein, cold start to the day, -4 with a high of 19. A sunny day in Richards Bay, 10, 24. Pietermaritzburg 6, 21. Durban 13 with a high of 23. Sunny in Mthatha, 4 is your low, 22 your high. East London 9 with a high of 22. If you're in Craddock, -1 is how you're starting the day. 20 is your high for today. Gqeberha 7 reaching a high of 20. If you're in George, 7:19. Cape Town 10:19. Worcester 6:24. Sunny in Sutherland, 4 is your low, 19 your high. And Uppington 3 is your low and 24 degrees Celsius. That is your high for today. I'll have another update for you just after 7.
Thank you so much, Zoe Brown, for that update. It's definitely going to be a beautiful day wherever you find yourself. That being said, we're also getting into a very serious conversation right now. We know about the mass shootings happening in the USA. Where does it stem from? What is the trauma behind that? We're getting a panel of people to discuss this with us, but do weigh in. We want to hear from you. 063 408 8863. That is the number to call through. If you have any questions for our panel, we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, it's going to be an incredible conversation. And adding to that, we're also going to add in some little bit of fun. Obviously, Michaela and Grant Hines are standing by. We've got a fun game that we've been playing all week, and I think you know what we're talking about. So, Jamie, why don't you grab that?
There we go.
I'll grab one of these, and it's time to enjoy the morning. We'll see you in a bit.
Welcome back, everybody. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show here on S3. Welcome to Thursday. Now, last week's mass shooting massacre in Texas was yet another grim reminder that in the US, where civilians own nearly 400 million firearms, children are more likely to die from gun violence than in any other high-income country. And here at home, we aren't much safer either, as South Africa crime statistics show that 16 people are shot and killed every single day. That's just about under 6,000 people a year. What is at the root of this pandemic? Is it the guns, or are the troubled minds of those who pull the trigger? Those are the questions we are asking today. And today's discussion is on gun violence, and it features a panel consisting of broadcast journalist Nick Anderson, as well as media practitioner Nash Mercado, as well as counsellor Melissa Smith. We are encouraging every one of you at home right now to join in on the discussion, and please do send through your voice notes to our WhatsApp line. It is 063-408-8863. Thank you guys so much for joining us for this very important conversation this morning.
Yeah, this will be a good conversation, so I want to dive straight into it. We've got 3 parts, but yet I think there's a lot to cover here, and there's a lot going on, not only in our country, but around the world, right? Nick, you're someone that's literally been covering some foreign affairs and seeing some of these issues that have been taking place. I mean, there's catastrophes in Buffalo, South Carolina, and Uvalde, or Valde, however you pronounce that. What is your take on what's happening now, man?
In America, it's tragic because it doesn't take those of us working in the media to know that this is a complete regular occurrence. I mean, it's been going on for years. I mean, I'm 27 years old. It's been going on my whole life. It's been going on for years before that. And the situation in America, like you mentioned, there's so many guns, and the country is quite divided on how to handle this saga. So it recurs. I think if you look at, there's been 17 school shootings so far this year. If you go off mass shootings, which is more than 4 people killed in America, we're already over 200 so far this year.
Is that the current statistic?
So it's a huge gun crisis there, and that's why, like, it's a rolling door in the media. It's just from shooting to shooting, from shoot to shooting, and it's where does the solution come?
Yeah.
That is so crazy to think about that, and let's bring it home as well, because I was saying 6,000 people a year in South Africa alone. That is scary. I mean, Melissa, your take on this, you know, where does this stem from? Is this coming from a place of trauma, a place of fear? What is your take on this?
And it's such a good question to ask, because I think sometimes we don't look at where it's coming from. We just look at the person who's doing it and just the action. And a lot of my experience when it comes to trauma is that people or the perpetrators usually, there's 2 main factors that stood out. And it's sometimes children come from an impoverished background and they feel like they don't belong and they don't have the resources. So it's that sense of belonging. And unfortunately, at times, gangs produce that. You know, that father figure, that sense of belonging. We're also in a very fatherless generation. And so they seek that attention and they want that father figure. Also, sometimes in a school environment, they have a learning barrier. And sometimes our classes are so crowded and the teacher doesn't have that opportunity to even just focus on that child, or the parent is not equipped to know that the child has a learning barrier. And so what happens, the child feels out, they get bullied and picked on, and then they don't want to be at school no more. And they go to the streets and they find that in the streets. So it's definitely rooted into their childhood.
I love what you're saying, because, I mean, it does fit into the narrative of many humans just wanting to fit in, wanting to belong. And now you have this divide where it almost presents anger if you don't, or this frustration when you're not. I love how you're saying that, Melissa. Nash, maybe I can put it to you. You're a specialist when it comes to content creation, right? And I'm obviously assuming that you spend a lot of time online, seeing what the current trends are, what's happening in the world. Do you see any sort of patterns in this new culture that's being adopted online, which kind of adds or breeds to this narrative of, like, express your anger, go out there and do something crazy, like pick up a gun? Is that being bred on the online scene as well, or is it something a bit more convoluted than that?
Well, firstly, thanks very much for the opportunity to speak on such a pressing issue. We see gun violence manifest itself the world over in different ways. Here in South Africa, we see it as vendetta-related violence, as in the case of the Gugulethu massacre and Khayelitsha Tavern shootings of 2020, right? In an American context, the internet has been labeled as a repository for these extremist ideologies way back since the Columbine school shootings of 1999, right? People have been saying that the internet, but back then, the internet had only been available for about 6 years for the public. So it was all speculation, right? But the recent Buffalo shooting has removed all doubt. Because the Buffalo shooter, he wrote a 180-page document that he then uploaded online, right? And in that document, there's a part where he answers the question, where do you get your present beliefs from? And he said, mostly the internet. Blatantly say that. And then he goes on to reinforce that idea by saying that I did not get my present beliefs from anyone I met in person. So yes, I do think that the internet does facilitate the intent to kill.
Oh, wow, that is even opening another topic right now, you know, what the internet is now impacting on this discussion. But how do we change this narrative? Because, I mean, guns are not the problem. It's also the mental health of these people that's the problem, especially in our young men in these countries. So, Melissa, how do we address this in schools and in homes?
I think in schools, normalizing, you know, with young men to express their emotions. This notion of boys don't cry. You know, that's still prevalent within our communities, and even in our schools, giving kids the opportunity to regulate their emotions. I don't think there's enough emphasis within our school systems when it comes to regulating your emotions and being able to express your emotions. I think as a parent also it's very important to allow the kids to express their emotions and make it known that you can cry if something happens to you. You know, you can feel sad, you're allowed to feel angry, but how you deal with it is very important. And sometimes we make kids feel that feeling angry is wrong, or feeling sad is bad, and it's only for girls and it's not for boys. And when we do that, we take away from the expression, we limit them. We allow them to suppress their emotions. And when you suppress your emotions, it affects you later on in life. So when you speak to a young adult, you always have to go back to their childhood because that's where it started.
I love this. And I love the fact that what's making me understand more about part of this issue, right, is, and Nick, I want to get back to you about the stats in terms of this because it's quite important, but just something that you mentioned earlier, Nash, it almost seems to me as if the guidance is lacking when it comes to our youth. I mean, I resonate so much with what you're saying when it comes to not expressing your emotion. I come from the world of suck it up, eat concrete, and get on with it. What happens when you can't deal with your emotion? How do you express it? And I find that this is a situation that we can be put in. So it almost seems like there's this lack of guidance. When I look at what you guys are mentioning, it seems as though there is that lack of like a father figure or someone saying to you, it's okay to express your emotion, like you mentioned. It's okay to hang out with certain people that you do or don't want to. I love that narrative, but how do we kind of solve that? Because like you said, yes, the internet is this breeding ground. It has so much information, positive and negative. It's more about how we subscribe to that. So how do we then kind of tailor the decision of the youth to subscribe to the positivity that is out there? Because look, in this world that we live in, we can't deny the fact that there's evil and good everywhere. It's about those decisions we make. How do we get those decisions to be the correct ones? Maybe this is a question for everybody right now. I don't know, I'm asking, you know? I don't know. Anyone want to pick that one up?
I think it depends on, and it's quite different, and obviously we'll chat more about this later, but the solution for South Africa and the solution for the US. I mean, look at the crime we have here, but do we see shootings to that level that we see in the US here in our own country? And we have to ask ourselves why to that. So that's what makes me believe that the solution is going to be very different in the US, where we know, and obviously it's something we'll mention in terms of just how the gun culture there is so different to here. Here we know we have guns, but it's literally a right to bear arms there. And that is viewed as an equivalent to every other right there, where most other countries don't view guns quite as strongly.
For gun violence or not for gun violence? That is the question, but the conversation is only just getting started here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. So please do stay tuned as we discuss ways we can mitigate gun violence for good. We're also, again, encouraging every single one of you at home to join in on this discussion and send through your voice notes if you have any questions for the panel. That WhatsApp number is 063 408 8863. We'd love to hear from you. you're still live here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show, and we are back to our discussion about mass shooting and gun violence that we have seen on our news headlines over the past couple of weeks. Now, earlier on, we explored the possible root causes of such avoidable tragedies, and now our panel is back to explore how the rate of gun violence can be curtailed, not only in the United States, but here in our own country too. And again, we are encouraging every single one of you to join in on this discussion and send through your voice notes to our WhatsApp line. It is 063-408-8863. That being said, we have our first caller, or our first voice note, and that is from Chris from Durban, and he had this to say.
Hi guys, I'm against guns for the reason that I feel a lot of psychologically unfit people are walking around legally in the possession of guns, and they act on impulse at the wrong time. They forget the rules, they're under the influence of drugs, of alcohol, and that's why people lose their lives. I think it should strictly be the army or the police possessing guns, even though the criminals have a lot of access to it. And I think that would help.
I like that. And maybe a great point, Melissa, maybe you can talk about the psychology behind this. Is it definitely an issue when you have something at your disposal that's going to amplify our desire to express, let's just say that? And are we a fickle enough nation to not sometimes have control of that emotion and just act out on it? What do you think?
I definitely think that, because at the end of the day, a gun is not like an instrument, you know, like if you play guitar, you know, it's the person behind the guitar, not the guitar. Yeah. It's not the same instance with a gun. I think definitely, yes, it is the person behind the gun, but it is that gun. Like he said, our human nature is to express. And if that's the only way that we can express, then people will use the gun. Yeah. So I think it's not to say that it's the gun as an instrument, but it's the person, but it's also that gun as well. So that is also a form of expression, a very bad form of expression, but it is a form of expression, and unfortunately, we can't change that.
Definitely. We do have another voice note through from Mervyn. He had this to say.
Hi, good morning, Expresso team. My name is Mervyn Frolic, and I'm against guns.
Okay.
Okay, it's a short and sweet, I guess. So just share your opinion.
Another one also coming through for Angel from Pretoria.
Good morning, Expresso Show. I'm Angel, and I'm from Pretoria. I'm also a school learner, but the question that I would like to ask is, how do learners end up getting in with such dangerous weapons at school while they are security guards? What is their job? Aren't they supposed to look after the school property? How can they let people get in with this type of weapons?
Nick, you are nodding your head like, oh my word, yes, this is a question we are asking, because everyone's asking this, where are the kids getting these guns? So maybe you can answer this.
How are they getting to the schools with it? Where's the access control? Where's the safety protocols? I'm
going to take it back to America again, because the shooting in Uvalde, that specific school had done in the last few weeks, it's come out now, they had done prep with the SWAT team, they had done new security protocols of police going in and learning the layout of the schools. But as we know from that case, police actually took their time, and the police chief has apologized for not handling the situation correctly. So again, we're seeing the US now ramping up. The Texas governor has said, right, we are now going to dial up security measures even more. But the problem is, because like we know, it is a mental health problem too, but in America where there's so many, this obsession with guns more than other nations, the two go together and it creates this catastrophic situation which we keep seeing.
Maybe I want to touch on that, because I'm just reading something here about the NRNA and many conservative bodies. They all believe that the only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. And I mean, the opinion on the US Second Amendment, which gives you almost a right to bear arms, kind of adding fuel to this fire, I'd imagine, right, Nick?
It's complete fuel to the fire. And like we said, and it sounds almost strange, like a right to bear arms, and you said almost right. In America, it's full on. And if you say, right, we want to do background checks, right, we want to do, say, if you're having mental health issues, it's a bit more difficult to get a gun. Because remember, in many parts of America, it's easier to get a gun than it is to buy alcohol.
You can go into like a bank and get a gun.
You can get guns like it's Pick and Pay or something here. So it's a really complicated issue. And that's why we're seeing now that right and that fixation, and the country is divided in terms of the US on how to handle this. Half the country's like, right, let's take away the guns, but then the other, maybe 30 or so percent, but it's such a strong vocal 30%, they are right, if you touch our guns, you are infringing on my right. So even if I'm having a rough time, I should still be able to buy a gun easily, and we say, right, make that a bit more difficult, and then people immediately say, right, you are infringing on my rights, and that's why nothing gets done in terms of changing the law.
Nick, I want to bring you in on this because you, you had something very profound to say online. You said, you know, something is causing young men to become radicalized to the point of becoming bloodthirsty monsters, or more precisely put, domestic terrorists. Okay, that is what you said online. What do you think that something is?
Well, I think it's a host of sociopolitical, economic, and cultural factors leading to radicalization, right? There's something in Hegelian philosophy called the rabble. So according to Hegel, the rabble are basically people who have been forced to the peripherals of this organized social space where there's harmony and peace. So they're called to participate in this harmony, but at the same time, simultaneously, they are deprived of the means to do so. So these people feel like their only way to express discontent is through irrational acts of destructive violence. Now, how does this relate to gun violence and mass shootings as a whole? If we take, for instance, the Uvalde shooter, we see bullying was used as a tool for exclusion. You know, there's one account that says that he was teased by other kids. He was called a school shooter prior to the shooting, based on how he looked and based on how he dressed. So there's an ideological side of radicalization that instills the intent to kill through extremist ideologies like the replacement theory and general social conditioning that shapes the mind of an individual and convinces them beyond doubt that they're justified in committing these horrible acts of terror against society. In America, however, like what Nick was saying, I do believe that the ubiquity of guns is a major problem, because now when you have so many guns in a country where the number of guns in circulation outnumber the population, it's easier for the radicalized to then act out their psychological and ideological inclinations. So yes, I think it's like a host of factors, but the presence of guns in society does play a central role in having these kinds of crimes perpetrated.
Oh, I love the point you're making there, and it sounds so interesting because it's like this constant chipping away at someone's character. That narrative constantly changes as they're going through the environment, and that externality has a big effect on, added to the fact that you have the possibility of having a gun there. That's a bad recipe. I love how you put that together. And what a panel we have this morning, Mzansi. Thank you so much for joining us. Of course, this conversation is not going anywhere. We are going to be carrying on with this, and again, talking to all these incredible individuals on the couch about all when it comes to gun violence and protecting our kids. And thank you again for sending those incredible voice notes in. Keep bringing them on, because we're going to continue to divulge and discuss more of it.
Oh, well, listen, what an important conversation. But we're now about to turn up the mood on your feel-good breakfast show. I'm on my second bowl of Fillows, and there's a chance there might be some chocolate in my teeth. But ladies and gentlemen, it's not about me. It's all about the moment the two have been waiting for, and this is the Fillows Challenge. Now, today we have two formidable contestants that's going to battle it out against each other. And up for grabs, we have a box of the brand new Jungle Crunch-A-Lot Fillows. I'm busy enjoying the little chocolatey ones. And just to give you a rundown of the rules, before we do that, let's bring in our first contestant. So in the right corner, we have the fierce, the sassy, Michaela joining us. And she got the dress memo.
I did.
We are matching today.
Yeah.
And to my left, we have the man with the crazy hair, new dad, Grant Hines, who did not get the dress memo, although you do match the decor behind you.
No one sent me a memo for my clothes, no.
Okay. This is how the game works. It's a lot of fun. As you can see in front of you is a bowl, a spoon, as well as a blindfold. So I'm going to ask you to please put the blindfold on. In fact, keep the spoon close because once the blindfold is on, it's difficult to grab the spoon.
Do you mind doing this with me?
I will help
How do you do this with makeup?
There we go.
Okay, wow, this is...
You got it?
Hey.
My eyeballs.
There we go.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to put some of our faux fillows on the table, and you need to scoop as many as you can within a 30-second timer.
Okay.
Now, the thing is, the person with the most fillows in their bowl is the winner, and you have the prize of either our original, our chocolate fillows, or our strawberry-flavored fillows. Are you ready?
Nice.
Go for it.
Okay. So wait for me to put some of the fillows down.
What do we do with
Wait, where
Where are they going?
Yeah,
You're
I
just
thought they were
gonna
in a bowl.
Scoop and go.
Well, I thought they were in a bowl, though.
No, I'm putting them out for you.
Oh, my
on the table
God.
somewhere?
They're on the table, so now
Are we supposed to suss where they are?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the beauty of this game. That's the beauty of the game. Are you guys ready? We are putting the timer on.
Okay.
In 3, 2, 1. You have 30 seconds. Go. Go. Woo. Keep scooping, girl. Keep scooping. Keep scooping. Keep scooping. Keep scooping. You're doing excellent, Grant. Don't lose your bowl. Don't lose your bowl. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up.
Oh, I got one in! What? You cheated! You cheated! What was my
Ladies and gentlemen,
How did you get so many in here?
Because you knock it off the back.
that was clever. Ladies and gentlemen, Michaela is our winner. You are our Fillows winner. Now, I have been... This is my second bowl, just by
Okay.
the way. So you have now the option to choose between the pink one, which is our strawberry flavored, the brown box, which is our chocolate flavored, or this one, our orange box, which is the original flavor.
Wow.
Which one would you like as
Which
your
one's
prize?
good, guys? The chocolate ones. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay, cool, thanks.
You want a bowl too?
I'm okay. I'll concede to the winner this time. But next time, my moves will be sharpened.
Well, if
I will go
Michaela's
into
nice.
the dojo and be better.
If Michaela will be nice, she'll give you a bowl.
Yeah, please, Canala.
Well, there we go.
Thank you.
Now, whether you are looking to spice up your kids' breakfast or simply spoil yourself with a tasty snack, the new Jungle Crunch-A-Lot Fillows, they are absolutely and definitely the way to go. And if you're up for the challenge yourself, we would love to see videos of you battling it out with your friends and family with the Fillows Challenge. Now, you can WhatsApp your video to 063 408 8863, and let's see if your family or friends can get more Fillows in their bowl than Grant Hines. One.
Probably.
Jungle Crunch-A-Lots Fillows. Enjoy these new oat-based creamy scented pillows as a snack or breakfast cereal. back. It is your Feel Good Breakfast Show, and we are now turning the attention to road safety, which is a major issue in South Africa. And as such, raising awareness around safety is of vital importance, especially when it comes to children. Now, this week marks Child Protection Week, which aims to raise awareness about the rights of children when it comes to everything from road safety to healthcare to their mental health. And that's what we've been tackling throughout the week. Now, this morning we are joined by Road Safety Officer Giancarlo Oganzi and Nokuzola Litsilebi, who is the Assistant Director of the Department of Transport and Public Works. They are joining us this morning as we unpack a very important topic that I'm going to get so fired up for. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us.
As you can hear, Zoe's already so fired up. She's like, why don't parents let their children sit in a car seat? Which is what we're going to get into.
Yes.
But just how important is it to create awareness around this, you know, just in general, creating safety around what is happening on the roads?
Globally, you know, we've got so many injuries. Road crashes in general are causing a major issue on our roads. And I always say to him as well, you know, people take it for granted. The moment you step out of your door, going to your car, or the moment you step out of your house, entering the street, you're already a road user. And we need to make you aware of what is happening out there, because we tend to take it for granted. We tend to take things easy. The road rages that are happening on our roads, you know, people come out of their houses with stress on their shoulders. The moment they get into a vehicle, they want everyone to move out of the road. And we don't know what you're going through. And you also don't understand that the behavior that you portray on the road is creating a problem for all of us, because now there comes the speeding. You understand what I mean? Because now sometimes you're late for work, you're not supposed to be at work at 7, but you get out of your house at 6:30. How are you going to make it in the Western Cape, in Cape Town specifically, if you drive out of your house like 30 minutes before you get to your destination? So we need to make people aware of the dangers of our behavior, you know, the danger of mere human behavior on our roads, things that we do to others, how they can affect all of us on the road.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, statistics also proves that it's mostly human behavior that are the biggest contributor to our crashes on our roads. So that's how people drive. It's your attitude on how you use your motor vehicle. And we are now speaking about motor vehicle usage, but like Nokuzola mentioned earlier, the moment you step out of your house, when you walk into the street, you're a road user, you're a pedestrian, and you're using the road. So there's the discussion is vast in terms of information on what you need to know as a pedestrian. Like, for example, we take it for granted the rule that we were taught when we were in primary school. You know, when you walk out onto the road, first you stop. And we do this, it's you know, it's a topic that we can decipher, but you stop and you make sure that you look right, and you look left, and you look right again, and then you listen. Because now you have to listen to see, are there other cars approaching out of side roads? Because you might see the road that is visible to you, but you know, if you look in Cape Town, we have so many side roads coming out, you know, and that is the reason why we urge people to make sure that road rule that you were taught in primary school to look left and right and left, please go back to basics. That's what we're really asking for.
And I mean, it's shocking the amount of people that walk on their phones and they cross the street, and it's only like almost when they're halfway through they realize, oh, I should have looked. And this is obviously the topic for a different conversation.
Yes.
But focusing on children and their safety on the roads, as a traffic reporter myself, I'm so aware of all the accidents that happen all across the country. Can you give us some of the statistics? Because so many kids are impacted, and I think so many kids' lives can be saved if they were strapped in and in a car seat, if they were meeting that requirement.
You know, when it comes to stats, what I'm going to say to you now is information that we've gathered from the Red Cross Hospital and from Child Safe South Africa. These are children that were admitted to the Red Cross Hospital for 2019. I would say 766. I'm speaking under correction, but that's how high it is. Like 766 children were admitted to hospital where there were traffic-related incidents. Either maybe a pedestrian, or they could have been a passenger in a vehicle. In 2020, we saw a slight decline, obviously because of the COVID-19 regulations where people were limited in movement. So we found that there was a bit of a drop or a decline to about, say, 680 around, plus minus.
Big number.
And then when it comes to 2021, we had 620 children. So there was a slight decline. But for me, one child is already one too many. And that is why we are here today. I mean, if there's anything that you still wanted to add on that, Zola.
I mean, I'm listening to that statistic. We have 365 days in a year. That means, on average, almost 2 kids end up in hospital or get admitted because of car-related, road-related injuries.
And it is like that because at the end of the day, you know, a child is a child. A child cannot take care of him or herself. It is the responsibility of the adult. As you were saying earlier, that parents drive for children, they are not restrained. Children sit on mommy's lap, you know. How comfortable can you be for a child to sit on your lap while you are driving or while you are a passenger? So we see those serious injuries that are happening to our children. And we find young children also walking on their own. I know circumstances are different, but you find a 5-6-year-old child walking him or herself to school. So that's also where we come in as road safety.
Well, we want to continue this conversation and especially put the spotlight on car seats and the importance of that and seat belts. So please, if you do want to weigh in on this conversation, you know we've got that WhatsApp line open. That number is 063-408-8863. If you have any comments or questions, you are welcome to send it through via WhatsApp.
Beautiful discussion taking place, and don't go anywhere because that will continue. But we're also going to continue all the magic when it comes to helping our kids this morning. Now, we were talking all about kids and their various aspects, and here's one that I definitely want to speak about now. And Nelson Mandela said it best: when we read, we are able to travel to many places, meet many people, and understand the world, unquote. Now, many literacy experts agree that when children learn to read in their mother tongue, it's much easier to broaden their learning experience. Now, Kukle visited the Cadbury Homegrown initiative launched to see this put into action. Let's check it out.
Your generosity can ignite a love for reading amongst our youth. Share your homegrown story. See Cadbury Story Edition packs. There's a glass and a half in everyone.
Celebrating the love of reading at the Cadbury Homegrown initiative launch at the historic Sandton Library. We are joined by many greats, including performer and storyteller Maeleti Tsatsi, multi-talented and inspirational Rorisang Tandegiso, and Kwali Books children's book author Louise Kruger, and of course the beautiful little children and their parents who are all excited to share their stories that will help children fall in love with reading. It's time for us right now to find out more. Rorisang, firstly, you are such a brilliant host, and we can see your passion for literature and sharing stories in your home language. Why has this been a priority for you, and how can we encourage other people, more people, to do the same?
I've got nieces and nephews and cousins who don't live in urban spaces and metropolitan spaces where English is the language. And are there books for them? Are there experiences for them? Because reading is not just the ability to read, but it's the world that it opens you up to, right? It's the imagination. It's using your mind to grow. We use that in our old age, in our big age, as the young ones say today. And I think that's why this is, for me, a passionate project. I mean, I came from a time where if you were at school and you spoke in your home language, you used to get a demerit. So instead of a mom sitting down and showing me a card saying, this is frog, this is sinkankan, all she had to do was give me a story, and the rest is history. So make it fun. The reason why the words and writing stories is so that when the kids read it, they remember the stories. Then they can use the language.
My experience today was exhilarating. Just walking into the library was exciting, and seeing little children running around, being excited about learning about storytelling, and most importantly, storytelling in their own languages. That was something I was looking forward to today.
The beauty and the mystery of Tselane Lidimo.
Tepo, what an incredible day. I'm pretty sure we are all inspired to share our homegrown stories to help address the reading crisis in our country. Please tell us more about why we are all here today.
South Africa is facing quite a number of literacy challenges. One of them is the number of books that are available to children in their home language. As Cadbury, we want to ignite a love for reading amongst our youth by making home language books available as widely as possible.
First of all, we walked into this amazing library that I remember from my early adulthood. I used to come here and pick my own books, and it's such an amazing experience to share it with my family today. And we got amazing chocolates, and we came and we sat and we listened to a story. Hey, Zina.
Well, I got to share a story. So so they were asking what would you have in a bedroom, and I said a bathroom, a bath, and
some bath
bombs and bath salts.
Yeah. What inspired your story today?
I don't know. I just thought of it.
Been such a magical day, and you know what, like, it hit me that, you know, they were quite true about the 2% that is in the nation, and we don't have books that are in our own languages, and it's like, wow. So it has been an eye-opener and a beautiful experience.
Why are initiatives like this so important?
Because I'm raising 2 future leaders, so I really want them to grow up with certain values, and this has to be one of them.
What is your favorite story to read?
Oh, Captain Underpants.
Captain Underpants.
What's your favorite thing about the story?
How funny it is. And also the flip-oramas, the action.
You don't realize how many kids that don't speak English as a first language or might not even speak it at all are missing out on so many experiences that you take for granted, you know, every single day.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
We need to rally together, South Africans, to really, the statistics are looking bad, to really make a change. So the more people that tell stories, the more people that hear stories, the less worse the statistics are going to be. So we really change in South Africa by telling stories. I believe in magic. I want to see things that don't talk, and to see children believing in that, and to see adults believing in that, the magic that unites us is what is important for me.
It was so important for me to have these books translated into all the languages, because I want a book in every child's hand, and reading and loving and the joy of reading for their whole lives. It's where it starts. They're going to be in schools as well, so it'll be read in schools, and that's for me so important because they can be used as a version of education, teaching children how to read and to appreciate the written word.
I think we must find creative and fun ways for kids to start enjoying not only their home language, but languages in general. We live in South Africa where we have 11 official languages. In those languages are history, culture, a people, a way of life. And if you close them off to that, you're closing them off to so many possibilities.
Remember, you can share authentic homegrown stories to help children fall in love with reading. Look out for the Cadbury Homegrown Story Edition packs in stores to find out more how you can finish a story in your own language. It's very simple. Visit www.cadbury.co.za and follow the hashtag Cadbury Homegrown Stories. And also on Facebook, follow at Cadbury Dairy Milk SA, Twitter and Instagram at Cadbury_SA.
Thank you so much, Kukle, and I absolutely just love that. Seeing those kids' faces so captivated, so engaged with content that they love, and I can see how much it's inspiring them. And I think this is inspiring an incredible solution for all our kids out there to be able to read in their own language. It's as simple as that, but it means so, so much. And of course, yes, everything for kids today, and we're going to continue with all that magic on the show, so don't go anywhere, Mzansi. We'll see you in just a bit.
Your generosity can ignite a love for reading amongst our youth. Share your homegrown story. See Cadbury Story Edition packs. There's a glass and a half in every one.
Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness fever is still in full swing. Expresso has opened a portal to the multiverse, allowing you at home to be part of the spectacle. We'll be giving away 3 magical gift hampers to the value of 1,300 Rand. So, sorcerers, fortify your minds and pay attention. All you have to do is visit our Expresso Facebook page and tell us what you most enjoyed about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness movie. That's it. Competition closes at 12 p.m. on Friday the 3rd of June 2022. T's and C's can be found on our website, expressoshow.com.
It's my feel-good breakfast show. Welcome back. It is your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso on S3. We are in the heart and heat of important conversations, so you do not want to miss out on that as we continue to talk Child Protection Week and safety when it comes to our roads and kids in cars. But it's now that time of the morning for us to catch up with your morning headlines. Here's Jamie Lee Domberg.
Thank you so much, Zoe. 2 minutes before 7 o'clock, time to have another look at those news headlines. Starting on the local front, now all British Airways and Kulula flights were suspended yesterday until further notice. Comair made the announcement on Tuesday evening, saying that its business rescue practitioners were raising necessary capital. CEO Glenn Orsman promised that customers would be refunded. An aviation analyst has labelled Comair's decision to immediately suspend flights and ticket sales as a heist, as consumers were offered flight specials right to the final hour before the announcement was made. Many frustrated customers said they'd been left stranded, and by not making a prior announcement, the company had deceived them. Then staying on the local front, the City of Cape Town has passed its draft budget for the 2022-2023 financial year and is pushing for more powers to be devolved from the national government, including energy production and policing and crime prevention. At least 8 billion Rand will be spent on water and sanitation infrastructure in the next 3 years and 490 million Rand on coastline rehabilitation. Now, some 2.8 billion Rand has been set aside for housing over the following 3 years for informal settlement upgrades, support for backyard dwellers, as well as social housing. Then looking to news on the international front, after 6 weeks of evidence in Johnny Depp's high-profile libel trial against his ex-wife Amber Heard, jurors in Fairfax, Virginia in the US have come back with a verdict in the multi-million-dollar case. Now, Depp has won his multi-million-dollar US lawsuit against his former wife Amber Heard. He was awarded $15 million by the court, comprising of $10 million compensatory damages and a further $5 million in punitive damages. But the judge capped the punitive damages total in accordance with legal limits, resulting in a total of $10.35 million. Then a shortage of oil refineries across sub-Saharan Africa, coupled with soaring crude prices because of the war in Ukraine, has left countries dangerously short of fuel supplies and causing queues at filling stations. Now, the surge in prices comes in tandem with a spike in the cost of food after Russia invaded Ukraine, affecting millions of people already living in precarious conditions. Refineries across sub-Saharan Africa combined can process 1.36 million barrels of oil a day in theory, but with many out of action, only 30% of that capacity was used last year. Then Britain will mark Queen Elizabeth's record-breaking 70 years on the throne this week with 4 days of celebrations. The 96-year-old monarch marked 7 decades on the throne in February, and 2 public holidays have been set aside to create a 4-day weekend from today to Sunday for a nationwide events commemorating her reign. Her attendance of these will be decided on the day, and paying tribute to Elizabeth the Great, as he referred to her in Parliament, Prime Minister Boris Johnson said her service and her dedication to duty was without parallel. He continued saying, "I hope that in the coming days we can show with every concert and every street party and every aerobatic display a love and a devotion to reciprocate the love, devotion and leadership she has shown to the entire country over 7 decades." Now, the Queen's also due to make an appearance on the balcony of Buckingham Palace to greet the crowds, but the 2 most controversial members of the royal family, her son Prince Andrew as well as her grandson Prince Harry, will be absent. That being said, that is where I leave your 7 o'clock news headlines. It's time to have another look at the sports. Here's Raul.
Thank you so much, Jamie. Lots of sport action to report on this morning. And starting off with the soccer news, late last night, it was a spectacle indeed. Now, Lionel Messi stole the show as Copa America holders Argentina powered to a 3-0 win against European champions Italy in the Finalissima at Wembley. Now, inspired by Messi, Argentina raced into a 2-goal lead in the first half of the prestigious friendly, thanks to strikes from Lautaro Martinez as well as Angel Di Maria. Now, Paulo Dybala also kept Argentina's rout, but after a disappointing season with Paris Saint-Germain, be it by his high sky standards, it was actually the sight of Messi back to his imperious best that took the spotlight. Now, the 34-year-old's eye-catching display featured 2 assists and was worthy of his rare appearance at one of football's great stadiums. Now, sticking to our soccer action and moving over to Ukraine. Now, they are 1 game away from qualifying for the World Cup after beating Scotland 3-1 in a playoff semi-final in Glasgow in their first competitive match since the country was invaded by Russia. Now, the following teammates, Andriy Yarmolenko, Roman Yaremchuk and Artem Dovbyk, scored the goals for Ukraine to set up a playoff final away to Wales on Sunday, and this for a place in Qatar later this year. Now, the match had been moved from March, just weeks after the war began, and this was to give Ukraine the chance to fulfill the fixture. Now, Scotland had been unbeaten in 8 games, but rarely threatened a response to keep alive their hopes of reaching a first World Cup since 1998. Now, from soccer action, we head over to the courts and report on the latest when it comes to tennis. And Iga Swiatek powered into the Roland Garros semi-finals as a comfortable victory over American Jessica Pegula, which extended the world number 1's winning streak to 33 matches. Now, the Polish star cruised to a 6-3 and 6-2 win on court Felipe Chatrier to set up a last 4 meeting with Daria Kasatkina. Now, she reached her maiden Grand Slam semi-final with a 6-4 and 7-6 victory over fellow Russian Veronika Kudermetova. Now, in the men's draw, Casper Ruud advanced to his first Grand Slam, and this was a semi-final for him as well, after beating Holger Rune in 4 sets. Now, Ruud will meet 2014 US Open champion Marin Cilic, for a place in Sunday's final. Now, from the tennis courts, we move over to the cricket pitch, and England have recalled veteran pace bowlers James Anderson and Stuart Broad to their side for the first test against New Zealand at Lord's starting today, while giving a debut to Durham quick Matthew Potts. Now, the pair are England's two most successful bowlers of all time, with a combined 1,177 wickets between them. But were both controversially left out of the squad for a 1-0 series loss, which took place in the West Indies earlier this year. Now, Potts gets his chance ahead of fellow squad member Craig Overton, having taken 35 wickets for Durham in his opening 6 county championship matches. Well, that's all that I have for you when it comes to the latest in sporting action. It's time to kick into those weather reports and see what we have around the country with you. All right, now the latest when it comes to the weather news. And rapid climate change has the potential to strongly influence the physiology, behavior and breeding success of animals. Now, research is showing that for birds in arid zones, rising temperatures pose a significant problem. Now, birds in dry zones usually breed in response to rainfall, which often occurs during the hottest time of the year. Now, birds are mostly active during the day and when exposed to the sun's heat. Now, this is when their vital process for reproduction takes place. Now, in a research article in The Conversation, doctoral student at the Fitzpatrick Institute of African Ornithology at UCT, Nicholas Pattinson, assessed the effects of air temperature and drought on the breeding output of yellow-billed hornbills in the Kalahari Desert. Now, this taking place from 2008 up until 2019. Now, although the number of pairs at the site remained constant, more pairs skipped breeding each year. Now, those which did breed did so less successfully, producing fewer offspring. Now, without successful breeding, the population will not be able to persist and will quickly become locally extinct. Now, the adverse circumstances may stop hornbills breeding by 2027. Wow. Dramatic news indeed. Well, from our climate news, we now head over to our sunrise views for a lighter note. And kicking us off now is Joanna Smith from Heidelberg, who shared a gorgeous silhouetted shot showing off the beautiful glow cast along the horizon as the sun comes up. Just about to get the day started, and what inspiration with that picture. And then we had regular photographer Nancy Govender all the way from Pennington capturing yet another absolutely fantastic photo, showing off the beautiful transition of colors spread across the sky in her area. And are we not grateful for this one? What a beautiful shot indeed. Mzansi, thank you so much for sending those incredible pictures in. Please do keep them coming. We love seeing how you start your day. And for now, let's see how you're going to actually start your day around the country and start looking at those temperatures. And let's start off in Polokwane. The day starting at a chilly 3 degrees, moving up to 20 being your high. Mbabela, 7 is your low, moving up to 22. Pretoria, a chilly 6 degrees, up to 20. And Johannesburg, the chill continues, moving up from a minimum of 4 all the way up to 18 degrees Celsius. Over in Mahikeng now, the day starting at an even chillier 3 degrees up to 21. Klerksdorp starting at 0 degrees Celsius, but up to 20 for the day. Kimberley, also very chilly, 1 is your day, up to 19 is your high. And then Bloemfontein starts the day at 4 up to 19 degrees Celsius. Over in Richards Bay now, a little bit warmer start to the day at 10, but up to 24 being your high. Pietermaritzburg starting at 6 degrees, but up to a moderate 21. And then over in Durban, 13 is your low, up to 23. And Mthatha going back to the chill, 4 up to 22 degrees Celsius. Around the coast now, I'm moving over to East London, where your day starts at 9 degrees, moving up to a maximum of 22. Cradock, bring in the chill. -1 is your start, but moving up to 20 degrees Celsius. Gqeberha sees the day starting at 7 up to 20. And George, 7 is your low, moving up to a high of 19 degrees Celsius. Moving over to Cape Town now, your day starting at 10 degrees, moving up to a high of 19. Worcester sees the day starting at 6 up to 24. Sutherland, a nice chilly start of 4 degrees, only up to 19 for the day. And last but not least, Uppington, the chill continues all around the country. 3 is your low, moving up to a high of 24 degrees. Again, Mzansi, thank you so much for sending those incredible pictures in. But we got to carry on with the magic of the show, and we are talking about everything when it comes to child safety. So let's dive straight into that conversation once again.
Thank you, Ryle. Well, you know what? We are super excited to continue this conversation. It is Child Protection Week, and we want to make sure they are safe, not only when it comes to their health, but when they are traveling from point A to B, whether they're going to school, and just to make sure that they are safe.
That being said, we are continuing our discussion with the Department of Transport and Public Works right here in the Western Cape. Now we have Giancarlo Ogansi as well as Nokuzola Lesilebe from the Department of Public Works, and they're continuing to give us some of the statistics around road safety and also some tips on how to ensure that our children are safe on the road, whether it is as a passenger in the car or as well as a pedestrian.
That's right. Now, I know that we touched on this earlier, but we want to now put the focus on car seats. It is so important that a child is strapped in and safe and secure, because that's what's going to save them when there is a car accident. How important are car seats, and are our families, our parents, doing the right thing by putting their kids in the car seats? That's the question.
To be honest with you, I think the broader public isn't really aware of how important a car seat is, because we find it alarming that when you get to a traffic light in traffic, that we still find parents having their children standing in cars unrestrained with either a car seat, or even adults. You know, you'll find that the parent is buckled up, but the child has free roam in the car, moving around, either lying on the backboard of the car or standing up between the two seats. And that is so dangerous, because if a driver should do an emergency stop, that child is not restrained. Parents are buckled in, yes, but then that child will travel right through the car, through the windscreen, and hit an object at the same speed that the car was driving. So that velocity will continue in that body, and that is where the injury happens. And that is why it's so important that we come out here and we ask that we understand that it's very unaffordable to buy a car seat. But there are places that do refurbished car seats, you know, and we are here today, and we'll chat about that later. But it's important that you buckle up. And we find it alarming because, I mean, like I said earlier, we find it on a daily basis that people are still allowing the children just to stand around in the car, you know. And maybe Zola can just chat about the ages. And
there's one thing before we get to the ages is that people don't understand that when you are in a car, any person, even if you are an adult, if you are not buckled up, you see a tin of baked beans, you are as loose as baked beans.
Sure.
The moment the crash happens, you're going to go all around in the vehicle, and you can find yourself out of the windscreen as well. So many times we encourage, because I remember there was an accident that happened at the Soloris Pass, I can't remember which year, where a child was found in between vehicles like this, and nobody knew whose child it was, because both vehicles had adults, and there were couples in both, a wife and a husband, but now the child was not restrained, so the child went out of the windscreen and then created for the child to be in between, and we didn't know whose child it was. But everyone in the vehicle, as much as the crash happened, they were all restrained. And then there's also one thing that I would encourage people to do when you do have YouTube or Google, go to it and Google for the last kiss. It shows how you move around in a vehicle if you're not buckled up. In that vehicle, just to make an example, there are 5 occupants in the vehicle. 1 is not restrained. The 4 are restrained. And in a crash, the 1 person is hitting everybody in that vehicle. His head was going all around because he's the only one who's loose in the vehicle. So that is why it is important. Coming to the ages, every child from the age of 0 to 14 to 15 must be buckled up in a vehicle. We have in a restraint. There are different shapes and different sizes of car seat according to the ages. So if your child is 0 to 14, and they must not sit in front in a vehicle. Children must always sit at the back, restrained.
You were speaking in the ad break about limitations. Children have limitations when it comes to road safety. Speak to us a bit more about that.
There are limitations in terms of the size, because a child, the size of a child, the tallness of a child can be a limitation. Say, for instance, a child is walking and the child has to pass in between parked vehicles. You, the person who's driving the vehicle, will not be able to see the child who is in between the vehicles. So we're also encouraging, we've got programs that we do at schools. We do have schools. Road safety is part of the curriculum. It is taught at schools. We know for intermediate phase, it is taught between August and September. So we do make visits to schools. We have lectures with teachers. We train the trainer. We've got material that we give to schools as well. So if you know of a school that has never had road safety, please contact us. We will definitely go to that school. So we assist in road safety being implemented in class, because we know that people are not aware of these limitations of children. Children have got auditorial limitations. What you hear is not necessarily what the child can hear. You can hear if there is a vehicle speeding around, and you can tell from which direction it's coming from. But a child at the age of 4, 5, 6 is not able to differentiate or determine where that car is speeding from. So you can sit there and you can tell it's from the right, or it's at the back, or it's in front. That child doesn't know. And children are not aware that they are in a vulnerable situation. A child may be living in a main road, but the child doesn't know that by the mere fact that our house is allocated on a main road, it makes me as a child to be in danger. For them, it's exciting, it's nice, cars are moving around. When they hear a speeding vehicle, what do children do? I mean, I'm sure you've also done that. You get excited. Yeah. You go like, yo, I want that car. Yeah, I want to go look and all that. So it is those kind of things that we're talking about. And also the peripheral vision of a child. Restricted. Yes. When I'm sitting here, I can see my colleague on the other side, but children don't have that. And due to that, parents don't understand that it is a limitation for a child. And also there is that fact of your child in the house being able to wash their socks, being able to clean, assist you to do. And what do you think? Wow, my child is clever. It doesn't mean that the child would know what to do when they get on the road.
Okay.
And even when it comes to children, they are very impulsive.
Yes.
So you'll find that children play on playgrounds, and that is where it comes in, where we now want to speak to the driver also a little bit in terms of the limitations of a child. A child is very impulsive. They'll be playing ball, kicking in the park, and when the ball goes out of the park, out of the play park, rolls into the road, the child's attention is on my game, on my ball, and they won't be looking out for cars. And therefore we're now asking, and that is where the Global Road Safety Week also comes in, where the United Nations is now advocating for a reduction in speed from 60 to 30 kilometers per hour in and around schools and residential areas. So we're just also urging the drivers, when they are around schools in residential areas, especially where children frequent often, please be on the lookout. Drive with anticipation that there will be a child or there will be a pedestrian in the area.
Oh, we can continue this conversation all day long because it's such an important one. To the both of you, thank you so much for joining us. And we were talking about car seats, and we're also running a very exciting competition in which you can win 1 of 5 car seats. Now, all you need to do is answer the following question. Tell us how old your child is and why you deserve a car seat. That is very important.
It is that easy, yeah. You can enter by answering the competition from our Facebook or Twitter pages, and you can also win this prize for you and your child. Now, the competition closes at midday tomorrow, which is going to be the 3rd of June. Remember, those T's and C's do apply and can be found on our website, expressoshow.com.
What's beta-glucan? Hello, do you know what beta-glucan is? What is beta-glucan? No one knows what beta-glucan is.
Beta-glucan is a natural fiber in jungle oats that helps lower cholesterol and keep hearts well.
Jungle, do life with heart.
Yes, Mzansi, welcome back. Your feel-good breakfast show. Hey, what do you know? We're talking about something that we all know, and it is load shedding. Yes, we live in the only country where your petrol light is on and every other light is off. Now, the pain of our existence here in South Africa is load shedding, and we need not to explain any further how this has been an inconvenience to our lives. But let's take a look at this comical moment during a local rugby match. Check this out.
That's it. Over. White
Only in South Africa. I mean, the crunch time, a minute before the game's supposed to end, and you get that. But the beauty of it is that we can somehow still laugh about it and find the humor. But guys, there's no humor in this conversation now because I think Mzansi's fed up and we want to know what is going on, what's the situation, and maybe you gents can shed some light, excuse the pun, on the situation right now. So, Grant, let me hit it to you first. How's load shedding actually even caused? Like, why does this happen?
Right, so it's actually quite a simple thing. It's the demand of electricity that we have as a population exceeds the amount that's actually being generated. So there's not enough electricity being made for us at the different plants, and there's a couple of reasons why. Some of those plants are either breaking down, haven't been kept up, they aren't safe. Or there's copper theft, or there's things preventing those power stations from producing power, and we're just demanding more and more power because that's the more the population grows, the more electricity is going to be consumed. So load shedding is about making sure that we can juggle that demand.
And the juggling seems to just be going on and on and on. Angela Carson, you're a tech expert as well, right? Man, maybe I can ask you this. How long is this going to be going on for? Like, when is it going to end? Are we expected to see a finish line, or is this just life as we know it now forever?
So I think at the moment it's life as we know it. My personal opinion, there's just too many variables that needs to fall into place before someone can pinpoint, right, this is the end point. Okay. Some interesting scenarios being painted out, it could be as much as little as a 2-year horizon. But there's so many projects that needs to come on board, and as Grant was saying, you either increase capacity or you decrease demand. And demand is not going to decrease in South Africa. So as long as you bring in on capacity increasing projects like solar and wind, then we can see strides being made. So dude, it's anything from a good few years ahead of us.
This weird picture came up when you mentioned that. I'm just like picturing a guy standing in a bucket full of water and the water's being filled up and he's just like fighting this endless battle, it seems. Surely like there's a way where tech can help things, or we can speed up the process, seeing that we have this information. It's not like a new problem per se. Is there a way to kind of speed up this process, Grant?
Look, I think, to be honest with you, I think the government's doing everything they physically can. Because I think everybody knows that it's such an emergency that it's not something that can just be let go. Yeah. And it's not something you just want to like hand over to the next person. I think everybody is doing their best. But like Angela was saying, it's a complex issue. There's so many different variables in making it work and so many different ways to increase capacity in the best way. We've just got to take those projects and like hope that the government is doing their best to kind of put this all together. Yeah.
But where tech comes in, I think in your personal capacity, there's so much we can do as South Africans just to make load shedding a bit more comfortable, a bit more bearable. Yeah. And it's just searching for the solutions and the products out there.
Now, I know we're going to have another conversation about this because you've got some tech that you're going to be bringing along. And I know Mzansi's excited because they're like, oh, yes, a solution to the problem. Yeah. But I just wanted to make maybe Mzansi feel a little bit more at home because we're not the only country going through this issue. I'm aware of the fact that I think we serve or even give some of our electricity out to other countries. So if they're relying on us, hey man, that doesn't look good, right? I mean, what are other countries actually experiencing, to be honest? Do you know anything about it, Nick?
Yeah, so energy security, it's not a challenge that's unique to South Africa. There's many countries experiencing it. Seems to be predominantly African countries. More established, developed countries seems to got it locked down. But yeah, we are not alone. So it's a shared challenge.
All right, gents. Well, we are going to get even more excited because, Mzansi, don't worry, we're going to continue this conversation and provide you with some solutions to these problems and shed some light on the situation. So don't go anywhere. The gents are going to be sticking around and bringing you some goodies, and we'll see you in just a bit.
Oh, thank you, Raul. Well, listen, we are sorting out breakfast for you because when it comes to a pull-apart French toast bake, there is no better way than to serve the breakfast classic with soft, buttery and gently sweet brioche, and drench it in some cinnamon custard and topping it off with fresh cream and berries, and this will really make for a fun brunch twist. Not only is it super easy to make, sometimes a little bit difficult to pronounce, but it is guaranteed to be better than any other French toast, and all thanks to New Laid's fresh eggs. Michaela is here to show us how to make this delicious.
I love French toast.
I know. Brioche is one of those words where you see it, you know how to pronounce it, and then it just hits you differently. Like the brain-mouth filter does not work sometimes.
I don't know if brioche has always been that word. I don't know.
Everyone has that one word. You see it and you like pronounce it differently.
Ooh.
Okay, so are we using all the eggs?
Yes, we are.
How many?
We have 5 eggs in here.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. Okay, and this is for our custard base, which we put over our bread. Just want to whisk those together. Whee!
There we go. And while Michaela's whisking that, New Laid eggs are laid by locally farmed hens and gathered from traceable sources, supporting the farm-to-table movement and ultimately guaranteeing that you are receiving the freshest eggs.
Nice.
So you're adding a whole bunch of ingredients here.
I have added some honey, some melted butter, some vanilla essence, and some lemon extract.
Ooh, and this is all for our custard.
Yes. Just mix those all together, and then we have a cup of cream to make it more decadent. Something about cream.
Well, there's something about cream that just really adds that creaminess to any custard.
Oh, it smells so good. It's lemony, it's vanilla-y. Give that a good old smell.
Cool.
And on your end, we have some sugar and some cinnamon.
I take it I have to mix it together?
You do. Do you have, here's a little spoon if you want to give that a mix, sorry.
Thank you.
And what you want to do with your bread is try and get a full loaf, and you just want to score the top. So cut it into chunks or slices.
So you're doing nice chunky pieces of bread?
100%, because you just want people to be able to pull parts of this from the top.
I love that this is a quick and easy recipe. I mean, you don't have to use a brioche bread. You can simply use maybe
You can use any soft loaf.
Any soft loaf. You can even if you've got leftover normal bread.
You know what else you could use?
What?
Cake.
Cake. Leftover cake. Then you're turning this into a dessert and not breakfast.
A day-old sponge cake.
A day-old sponge cake will work equally as good.
Okay. And you just want to slice it, not all the way through, just so that you have some cubes to pull apart, and we put that into our little...
Look at that!
I know.
Okay, so we've got our custard mixture here.
And if you can just drizzle that over...
Okay, I'm going to do that.
Good. And I'll try and open some spaces
So we
here
want
for you.
it to...
Go into the central bits. Perfect.
There we go.
And all around the edges.
Oh, we're making sure it's soaking up. I'm making a bit of a mess here.
Nice.
But that's what we are doing, just
Perfect.
covering it everywhere.
And then you have that bit of custard at the bottom that will just absorb into the bread. And then we have our sugar and some butter. So let's do sugar first.
Let's do sugar first. I'm going to clean this up for us.
Nice.
Because we are doing the whole presentation. Oh, you're really adding a lot of sugar because this is going to give us that crunchiness that we want.
There we go. And then you want to take chunks of cold butter and just put it on around there.
Oh, well, that's quite clever.
Around the edges, and then in the little nookies.
Well, while Michaela finishes this up, when it comes to new-laid eggs, their eggs are extremely versatile, from their free-range eggs, pasteurized eggs, or even their canola eggs. Their ranges allows for you to get creative like we are doing in the kitchen right now to create fresh meals for you and your family. This is amazing. This goes into the oven for a little bit.
180 degrees for about 25 to 30 minutes.
There we go.
Until it's golden and delicious.
Golden and delicious, and you're able to pull it apart. And if you want to get your hands on this soft and buttery French toast bake recipe, head on over to our website, that's expressoshow.com, and get the full recipe there. Michaela, this looks good.
Ready.
Are you a newly qualified chef looking to pocket a whopping 15,000 Rand in cash and the title of Excellent Young Chef for 2022? Then listen up and enter now. Entry is easy. Simply follow the Excellent Young Chef competition link on Afternoon Express's Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram pages and upload a video of you sharing your name, a short intro about yourself, when and where you qualified, and your signature Excella dish using Excella Thai long grain rice, sunflower oil, or mayonnaise. T's and C's do apply and can be found on afternoonexpress.co.za.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Yes, Mzansi, welcome back. We are shedding light on something important right now. You definitely want to pay attention and listen up, because load shedding is now a part of everyday life. But do we have to put up with it? No. And I hope not. I'm hoping these guys can sort us out. Now, thankfully, there's some technology that can help us through these dark times. And, of course, I'm chilling here with Nick and, of course, the resident Grant Hines. And they've brought us some incredible tech. Now, we are seeing more ingenious ways to deal with load shedding. And I believe what we have in front of us is exactly that. So, gents, I want to take us through some of the options on how we can find solutions to load shedding and also power certain devices that are essential for a lot of us in our house. And starting off with powering our router. Let's start with Wi-Fi. That's like the kind of creme de la creme when it comes to basics in the household. Like, you don't want to be disconnected. You want to know what's happening. What's the solution for that? How do we get Wi-Fi box ticked?
Okay, cool. So Angelo helped me educate me on this stuff. Okay. So, I know a little bit more about it than I did. But these boxes at the front over there are two different kinds.
Is that this one's over here?
That just charge your router. And I think a lot of people don't know that. They think that, oh, cool, if I want the internet on the house, I need to have the biggest, greatest thing. Yeah. But you actually don't. You can just make sure that your internet is on, so that Do those come with an inverter inside? They do, hey? So, as soon as the power cuts, it'll still stay on.
Absolutely.
Which is really exciting.
Yeah.
So your internet won't go down.
notice a drop and then it comes back up. It's just continuous use.
No, and if your phone has got charge and if your laptop has got charge, you'll be able to continue working and be able to access the internet.
Absolutely. Okay, nice. And I would imagine price point on this is not too bad. It's quite affordable for everybody. I mean, it's not like I'm hearing thousands and thousands when it comes to powering your house.
It's definitely not going to break the bank. So lights will go off. You still have Wi-Fi. You feel civilized.
Nice.
I think the kids are entertained as well.
It's a safety thing as well.
Yes, absolutely.
That is very true. A lot of us running our alarm systems and things off Wi-Fi and various other options. So that is a great point, actually. Yeah.
In fact, in the Gizo range, there's a unit that will actually power your CCTV setup as well.
Wow.
And in South African context, I think that's quite important, looking after your security.
Yeah.
So there is a solution whether it's just your router or right to your CCTV infrastructure. And it's very
Let's go through this step by step because I think Mzansi is dying to find out more about what's happening here. As he is holding something in his hand. Looks like a normal power bank. Why are you showing me the power bank, dude?
It's
Come on.
not just
We've seen that before.
This is not just a power bank, and this is what's really exciting. So this has got power delivery 3.0. So you know a lot of our phones have fast charging?
Yes.
That's because we have new power delivery standards in devices. So a lot of battery packs like these are coming out with fast charging, and that means that you can charge not just your phone, but also your notebooks. So a lot of notebooks are out there with fast charging, which is really exciting.
That is awesome. So you can travel on the go, work on the go. You've got a small, tiny
This is 20,000 milliamps.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
That's gonna last quite a while.
That's a long time.
I mean, I think, what do we have on a phone? It's like 5,000 or something. So that's incredible. Okay, I'm liking this.
What does make that product unique, though, is it pushes out 100 watts. And that's powerful enough to charge a laptop, and there's not many products out there that can charge a laptop.
Yeah, all right. I'm loving that. I might have to just add that to the shopping cart. But let's continue, gentlemen, because like you mentioned, you can power your notebook with something like that. What happens when you want to power your TV? You want to start stepping things up a bit? And I see you've got all these crazy boxes. Where are the big batteries? Where are the big inverters that we're so used to? Where are the options here? What's happening?
We don't need those. We don't need those. So where we're moving to is mobile power solutions.
Yeah.
And that means that when you're setting something up for your home, you can take it with you. So this unit over here, that's powerful enough to power your 42-inch TV, for example.
Wow.
You could plug a bar fridge into it, or your multiple screen setup in a laptop or desktop. But it's not stuck at home. I can take it and I can take it camping. I can take it to my holiday house.
There's nothing that attaches to this? Or where's the other bag? Man, I need to take this. I can put this in my hiking bag when I go camping. This is awesome.
Yeah, they're talking about that. The exciting thing is that it does connect to a solar panel. So you get a solar blanket that you can put out, and then you can charge it with your car cigarette lighter, and you can charge it with that blanket. So it becomes not only a portable solution that you can use while camping and in and around the house, charging it, keeping a TV on for the kids, but also something that is more sustainable and get you some power off of the grid. In fact, all of these ones are.
Yeah, and I like to think of this as a very big power bank. Then you move over to the EcoFlow
let's talk about
range.
these big boys.
These are very sexy looking products, and there's a reason for it, right? Lots of built-in tech. It has a built-in inverter, which means it functions as a UPS. So load shedding happens, you have uninterrupted power supply, you don't even notice drop in load shedding, and your devices keeps on recharge. And the most amazing thing, it has fast charge technology. It will recharge itself to 80% from zero in an hour. And there's not another product on the market that can do that.
Just adding all of these to the shopping cart. Incredible.
And this can, I mean, that can handle a couple of household devices. This can handle like pretty much all of them. So it's, but it's a chunky boy.
But still a lot less chunkier than what you're currently seeing in the market. And I absolutely love this. Angelo, Grant, you guys have been incredible when it comes to providing us with solutions and maybe even a gym solution there. Looking for some gym equipment. But Mzansi, I hope you are plugged in right now, and I hope you shed some light on helping you solve the problem when it comes to load shedding. And the gents have brought some incredible tech, and we have every option when it comes to Wi-Fi or the entire household. So we got you covered. You can find out more about them or chat to them online. For us, it's time to shed some more light on the rest of the show. Let's catch on the rest of the team.
Well, not just any show. We are focusing now on TikTok, and the topic of load shedding does not stop there, because if one thing South Africans are known for, it is definitely we can make light of any situation. We somehow always find a reason to laugh. I think our humor is of the best. And when it comes to TikTok, we're going to find some of our favorite load shedding inspired videos. Let's have a look at some of our favorites.
I'm already laughing before we even introducing the clips. Now, kicking things off, we have Kelsey Maggot, who visited the show a while back. While waiting to go on air, she filmed some TikToks in our green room, but had a little of a hi-bo moment. Take a look.
Only South Africans will understand.
Yeah, I get it, girl. Shame. It happens to the most of us, hey?
It does happen. Well, let's move on to one of our favorites, influencer and media personality, Sizwe, took to TikTok to film the #trending, #flip the switch challenge. But, of course, things didn't go as planned. Let's take a look at this.
Look, I just flipped the switch.
Switch on the lights, how? Hello?
That is hilarious.
Oh,
I love it.
switch on the lights.
Switch on the lights. Okay, well, we all know that moment now when you're getting ready to cook up some lunch or dinner and head into the kitchen to satisfy your cravings. You've prepped all your ingredients and you're getting ready to cook, but dololo, electricity, and you're somewhat feeling watched. That's exactly what happened to TikToker Zayan. Take a look at this one.
But why do I always feel like I'm in the twilight zone and I always feel like somebody's watching me?
Oh, shame. Oh, shame. I think that happens to the most of us, you know. Or what happens, your phone's about to die and you plug it in and you realize there's no electricity.
Girl.
There we go. Well, for this next one, we are sending out some love to students all over Mzansi. Now, Simon Baxter was coincidentally studying electric circuits without electricity, but what was he able to do and was he able to see the light? Well, that's the question. Let's take a look.
What a confidence booster.
There we go.
Hilarious. Well, next is Justin Campbell, who had a laugh about being the pain of not being on the same load shedding schedule as his friends. Check this one out.
Why are you not laughing?
Because it's not funny.
Hi, shame. That's quite evil to put the electricity on and off. Well, last we've got this one from Calvin Pombo, who, on behalf of all South Africans, showed the rest of the world what it's like to experience load shedding with one simple video.
Tell me you live in South Africa without telling me you live in South Africa. I'll go first.
Yeah. Okay, we get it. You win. You win that round because that is exactly how to say that you live in South Africa without actually saying you live in South Africa. But we've definitely had a laugh this morning. And if you want to see more of these, search the hashtag load shedding on TikTok. And of course, tag us at Expresso Show in your favorites. If you haven't already, also follow us on TikTok. That's at Expresso Show, and mention us in your videos. And who knows, you could join us for TikTok Thursdays. I mean, that's if load shedding allows that. You know.
We've got generators here.
We are back with the best of the best in the All-Star Season 10 of Tropica Island of Treasure. And we're going big!
Just tell us why you should be chosen to compete with one of these all-star celebs and stand a chance to win a smooth 1 million rand. WhatsApp your audition video or upload it on our socials at MyTropica for your chance to get a spot on the island.
So buy a Tropica today, and this could be you. CPAC for details.
Tropica, nothing smoother.
Welcome back. You are just in time. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso on S3. Now listen to this. Castanets, colourful ruffled dresses, and some sensuous, stylized movements that will be on display at the authentic Flamenco from Spain takes to the Artscape stage for 3 shows this weekend. Now, direct from Seville in Spain, the production From Triana to Granada showcases the incredible talent of 8 young artists of the foundation Cristina Heron of Flamenco Art. Let's see what they're all about. Promised you are in for a treat, and just look at that. Brought to us by the Consulate General of Spain and the Cristina Heron Foundation of Flamenco Art, and with the support of the Embassy of Spain, we can please welcome Director Alexandra Hoffer and Artscape Brand Manager Simon Heradin joining us in studio this morning. I'm so excited. 3 performances taking place at the Artscape Theatre. So exciting. But Simon, I'm going to start with you. How did this collaboration between the foundation and the Artscape come about?
You see how excited I am. I'm even wearing the flowers.
You are dressed for the part.
Absolutely. Look, you know, if you look at the history of Artscape, when the building opened in 1971, it was an exclusive audience only. And then democracy birthed, and we got through the transformation process, and we've been doing international cultural exchanges with a host of countries from Europe, across the African continent, the Asian continent. We're part of the Silk Road Theatre of Chinese, but we're here to plug the Spaniards, specifically from Andalusia. So that is how this collaboration came about, because we do international cultural exchange, artistic projects, artists in residency, etc. And it's for us to understand each other's cultures. You know, we see, especially in countries like South Africa, with the horrific xenophobia that we have in our country. And part of these projects with the Cristina Heron Foundation, with the Embassy of Spain and the Consul General of Spain, and some of the other international projects that we have too, it's just to engender that cultural understanding, but more so also for the patrons to come and enjoy a fantastic flamenco show. I think the last time that we had a flamenco show, I'm talking international, that we had a flamenco show was about 20 years ago. We have it national, and we're also dedicating this flamenco production specifically to Caroline Holden of La Rosa, South African, who died in 2013 of an aneurysm. So, you know, buy tickets.
Buy tickets. And there are only 3 shows taking place at the Artscape, so it's definitely something not to be missed. Alexandra, I'm going to ask you this question. When it comes to flamenco dancing, for those of us who are not too familiar with it, and when it comes to any, you know, how would you best describe it?
Flamenco, it's a music that comes from Andalusia, and flamenco speaks and sings to life and dances to life. Flamenco, I think it's passionate because it's all about life. So you express joy, you express sadness, or it really express what you live. So that's why I think flamenco, it's easy to understand for everyone, because it really talks to you. It's all about passion.
And that passion will definitely come through just looking at what's on our screens right now. Now, what inspired you when you directed this show? What can our audience expect when they buy their tickets and go to the Artscape and see this beautiful production?
Well, I think this show, it's a very complete show. We have 4 dancers on stage, which went thanks to Artscape for, you know, for calling us, because I know it's difficult to move a show with so many artists. It's 4 dancers, 2 singers, and 2 guitarists. So there are 8 artists on stage. We are going to show different kind of rhythms and songs with the dances, of course, of flamenco, because flamenco goes, as I said before, from very dramatic to very joyful. And that's what you're going to see, very different dances. When I directed it, I wanted to show the different personality of each of the dances, and that's very important, I think, so that I think the public will have a real taste of what flamenco is.
Oh, amazing. Now, I know that the show is called From Triana to Granada, and Simon, you pronounced it in Espanol. Can you just give us the correct pronunciation?
Yeah, because a poquito español, no? De Triana a Granada. Tickets available at CompuTicket and our box office 021 421 7695. Our hashtags Artscape Theatre Centre.
Oh, listen, you do not want to miss out on this spectacle that's taking place tomorrow, the 3rd of June and the 4th of June. So make sure you get your tickets. It is available at CompuTicket. It's all taking place at the Artscape. And stay tuned to your Feel Good Breakfast show, because we'll give you a little sneak peek, a little taste of what to expect.
Speaking of taste, we are back in the kitchen, and whether you are a novice cook or a seasoned culinarian, every kind of foodie deserves a versatile cookware piece that makes for timeless kitchen essentials. Now, Le Creuset is known all around the world for producing premium cast iron cookware in the same original foundry in France since 1925. So they've been around, and if there's one must-have to add to your winter essential collection, it is the versatile Le Creuset cast iron casserole, perfect for all that delectable winter comfort food. And who better than a friend of Expresso, Claire Joy Winsley, is here to inspire us with a mouth-watering basil pesto roast chicken. I mean, Claire, I don't even know you, but everyone behind the scenes was like, do you know Claire? Have you met Claire? You've been here 5 years ago.
Yeah, a long time ago. It's so good to be back. It's so good to see familiar faces. It's just so good to be back here behind the kitchen and, more importantly, cooking yummy things.
Yay!
Super exciting. So it's really cold and wintry, you know, as we know at the moment. And like, for me, the wonder of winter is casserole cooking. You know, the smells of something simmering in the kitchen, something baking in the oven is just so, so, so exciting. So yes, a really easy, really simple roast basil pesto chicken.
I can understand why everyone loves it. You just have this like natural energy. Also, can we speak about that this is kitchen goals right now? One day, like in 5 years' time, I want my kitchen to look exactly
like a whole range
with all
on
this
display.
range. Just look at this. I mean, you have come through with every single piece of potware that we can think of. I mean, oval shape, round shape. Take us through it before we get into this very delectable winter dish.
This is the thing. There's all sorts of shapes and sizes, but the beauty of Le Creuset cast iron casserole is that basically anything, any recipe is suitable in any shape. So it's really versatile, it's really fantastic. So yes, let's talk a little bit through the shapes. So we've got the signature round casserole, which is for me, the ultimate.
The Beyonce.
It's a Beyonce. It has to be in your kitchen. It's perfect for anything, for stews and, like, wait for it, cakes. I baked a cake in it the other day. Yeah, look at your face. You're like, huh?
What?
I baked a cake in it the other day. It was amazing. The cast iron has really great heat retention, so you get such a great, even bake or cook, whatever the case may be. So round ones, amazing. Then we have the uber popular signature shallow casserole. So that's the one over there, which is a little bit lower. It's got the sides are a little bit shorter. That, because of its wide base, is so great for searing, like get a steak in there. Amazing. And then also baking. I made focaccia bread in that the other day. Like, what? Yes. So that was really cool because the cast iron kind of gets the base really crunchy, crispy, delicious. You know you want that like really crunchy base on your focaccia. So that was amazing, a yummy bacon focaccia, delicious. Then we have the signature soup pot. So the cool thing about the signature soup pot is that the sides, you can see, are quite a lot taller, so it's really easy for stirring. And like
that one, is that?
Yeah, and like really stirring. We've got some pasta in there for later. We'll talk about that later. So stirring and simmering, and like that's a really great, simple, easy one. And then today what we're going to be using is the oval. So perfect for large roasts, like our basil roast chicken. And just a great shape, super versatile, and just good family kind of cooking sort of situation
I
going
actually
on.
want you to be my best friend right now because making a cake in a pot, you had me at that. But what are we doing today? Because for me, basil in itself is such an overwhelming flavor profile.
Really?
And I don't know how to get the correct balance. So that is why you're going to be my best friend so you can teach me how to get it right. I think it's maybe the pot as well because I don't have one of those. And maybe that is what I'm lacking.
I mean, you put anything in the pot, you're good to go. Like, guests, family are like, what? Are you a master chef? So basil, I mean, don't be scared of it. And the nice thing here, well, first of all, it's Thursday. We don't have time for cooking. We like ideas of recipes are like nowhere today. So I thought this recipe would be so super simple and easy and quick and like store-bought basil pesto. Like, no one, don't tell anyone, but like easy peasy.
I won't tell anyone, just the entire nation.
Easy peasy, and you don't have to be scared of the basil because it's like, you know, they've portioned it out nicely. The flavors are going there, everything's amazing. So we're gonna lift this off here.
Okay.
Do you want to help me like get in
I can. So you said it's quick and easy, so we have to show Mzansi just how quick and easy it is.
So quick and easy, like we're not actually doing any cooking now. We're going to let the casserole do the cooking.
Let it do its thing.
Confusing? Maybe. So great thing about these casseroles is that they're perfect for stovetop and oven. So say you're cooking a curry and you want to get the onions going and you get all your fragrance and your spices and all that sort of going, get your meats in there, lid goes on, it goes straight into the oven. You don't have to like swap and change. And put it into different things, ready to rumble right there. So this recipe, what are we doing? We have got some onions. Just gonna pop it in here, straight in here.
Easy.
Let's actually get a little bit of olive oil just on the bottom, just to kind of add a little bit of a layer between everything. You can actually get way more onions in here because it is such a big pot. So probably get a little bit more in there, and let's get our chicken. Are you gonna get your hands dirty or just gonna pass it to me?
I'm just gonna pass it to you. I'm the hype friend. I always tell everybody I'm the hype friend in the kitchen. We don't have enough time to complete this recipe. You see what happens when you don't visit us after 5 years. We run out of time, but for you at home, luckily, this recipe is available on our website, which is expressoshow.com, so please get your hands on it. However, you can also follow at Le Creuset SA for more delicious inspiration, and if you need to add your collection, visit a Le Creuset boutique store near you or shop online at lecreuset.co.za. Myself and Claire is going to finish up this recipe. Hopefully at the end we'll show you what we've created. But Claire, it's so good to have you back with us.
So good to be here. So super, super simple. Just like that. I'm quickly finishing. Pop the feta in there. Lid goes on. Super tight fitting lid. Locks in all that moisture and that deliciousness in the oven.
There we go. Basil pesto chicken just for you. Enjoy, everybody.
1 in 2 healthy South African women suffer from iron deficiency. Speak to your healthcare professional about getting tested and treated for iron deficiency. Brought to you by FerryMed.
Expresso on S3, and all I'm going to say is you are in for a treat.
Oh yeah, we are watching the behind the scenes of our flamenco dances. It is an absolute treat that you are not going to want to miss. So don't go anywhere, Mzansi. But before we get into that, of course, Jamie Lee Dombek is standing by with the news, and we'll see you in just a bit.
Thank you so much, guys. Starting on the national front one last time, an impatient motorist decided to drive on a railway line in order to reach KZN quicker as traffic on the N3 was backed up due to an accident. Now, it resulted in his vehicle getting stuck on the line, where it was subsequently struck by a train. This happened on the Kransfontein railway line near Bethlehem in the Free State. Now, Free State Police spokesperson Warrant Officer Mako Mofiring said when the train hit the vehicle, an SUV, there were no occupants inside. Mofiring said no one was injured in the incident. Then staying on the local front, all British Airways and Kulula flights were suspended yesterday until further notice. Comair made the announcement on Tuesday evening, saying that its business rescue practitioners were raising necessary capital. CEO Glenn Orsmond promised that customers would be refunded. An aviation analyst has labelled Comair's decision to immediately suspend flights and ticket sales as a heist, as consumers were offered flight specials right to the final hour before the announcement was made. Now, many frustrated customers said they'd been left stranded, and by not making a prior announcement, the company had deceived them. Then looking to news on the international front, U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken has appointed Ambassador Mike Hammer, presently in the Democratic Republic of Congo, as U.S. Special Envoy for the Horn of Africa. The appointment underscores America's commitment to the prevalence of diplomatic efforts in the region, including the political and peace process in Ethiopia, Blinken said. Now, the Biden administration also remains committed to a cessation of hostilities, as well as a negotiated resolution of the conflict in Ethiopia, which has been crippled by a violent internal conflict since November 2020. Then, after 6 weeks of evidence in Johnny Depp's high-profile libel trial against his ex-wife Amber Heard, jurors in Fairfax, Virginia in the US have come back with a verdict in the multi-million-dollar case. Depp has won his multi-million-dollar US lawsuit against former wife Amber Heard. Now, he was awarded $15 million by the court, comprising of $10 million for compensatory damages and a further $5 million in punitive damages. But the judge capped the punitive damages total in accordance with the legal limits, resulting in a total of $10.35 million. Then Kunle Adenyaju of Nigeria has finished the arduous journey from London to Lagos on a motorbike in his campaign aimed at raising awareness and funds to end polio in Africa. The 44-year-old arrived in Lagos to tumultuous welcome after covering some 12,000 kilometers across 14 countries in just 40 days. He used the journey to give back to society by educating women as well as children along the route about polio in Africa. Now, many people offered to donate to the cause through the Rotary Club. Adenyaju crossed the English Channel into France, passed through several Spanish towns before crossing the Mediterranean on a ferry via the Straits of Gibraltar. He disembarked in Tangiers, Morocco, then went on to Marrakesh before crossing to Mauritania. Then it was on to Senegal, Mali, Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Togo, as well as Benin before arriving in Lagos. His preparation took him a year and included identifying hospitals as well as police stations on the route. Now, physically, Adenyaju was quite up to the task, as he had previously cycled from Lagos to Ghana and twice climbed Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania. That being said, that is where I leave your news headlines. It's time to have a final look at the weather. Here's Zoe.
Thank you, Jamie. The UN and humanitarian agencies have warned that millions of people face severe hunger in the Horn of Africa, as the worst drought in more than 40 years could extend to a fifth consecutive failed rainy season. The March-May rainy seasons has been the driest on record, devastating livelihoods and deepening a humanitarian emergency in Ethiopia and parts of Kenya, including a risk of famine in Somalia. And there's also a risk that the October and December rainy season could also fail. Claire Nullis, spokesperson for the World Meteorological Organization, said drought has combined with a global rise in food and fuel prices exacerbated by the war in Ukraine to impact millions of people across the continent. An estimated 16.7 million people currently face acute food insecurity in East Africa, and that figure could increase to 20 million by September. Nullis added that they were extremely concerned that the situation is set to get worse. Well, we now turn our attention to a more positive outlook on life as we take a look at the skies that you share with us every single morning. And we now welcome your sunrise photos via Expresso's WhatsApp. Anand Pandey from Tropica captured this cloud-filled sky with hues of red and orange lighting up our sky. Terry van der Merwe woke up slightly earlier to capture this sun being absolutely beautiful, rising in the distance at the break of dawn. Then Johanna Smith from Heidelberg shared this gorgeous silhouetted shot, and this one's showing off the beautiful glow cast along the horizon. And then last but not least, one of our regulars, Nancy Govender from Pennington, captured yet another fantastic photo showing off the beautiful transitions of the color skies spread across the sky in her area. We would love to remind you to please share your sunrise images with us. You can now simply WhatsApp it to us on 063 408 8863. Let's get into your temperatures one last time for today. If you're in Polokwane, expect a low of 3, a high of 20. Mbombela, sunny, a low of 7, a high of 22. Pretoria, 6, reaching a high of 20. Johannesburg, 4, with a high of 18. A sunny day ahead. Mahikeng 321, Klerksdorp 0 is your low, 20 your high. If you're in Kimberley, 1 is your low, 19 is your high. A sunny day but a cool start for Bloemfontein, -4 with a high of 19. Richards Bay 10 reaching a high of 24. If you're in Pietermaritzburg, 6 is your low, 21 your high. Durban 13, 23. Mthatha 4 with a high of 22. East London partly cloudy, reaching a high of 22 degrees Celsius. Cradock -1 reaching a high of 24 today. Gqeberha 7 with a high of 20. George 7 reaching a high of 19. Cape Town partly cloudy, your low for today is 10 and your high 19. Worcester 624, Sutherland 4 reaching a high of 19. And Uppington expect a low of 3 and a high of 24 degrees Celsius. And that's where I leave your weather on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Yes, Mzansi, it's time to step things up a bit and change the pace. It's time to let loose and celebrate. And this is something that I absolutely love. We're going to dive into this culture and we are going to be entertained right now. So we're joined by, we're joined this morning by the talented flamenco dancers. Now, from Triana to Granada, they're kicking off this set with a performance. And excuse my bad pronunciation, but I'm going to try my best. Now, this one is Guajira, danced by Araceli Munoz. Take it away, guys, and enjoy this, Mzansi.
Yo una cabaña compré y una reina parecía. mamita, de terciopelo, niña bonita, de terciopelo, niña, guajirita de mi pensamiento, canta, canta, despacito, la guitarra no aberrea, porque no te idea, bonita de la plazuela, la más bonita de la plazuela. Bonita de la plazuela, la más bonita de la plazuela.
It's time to meet one of our Tropica Island of Treasure All-Stars.
My name is Roxy Lowe. I'm a surfer, model, DJ, and an actress. I became a DJ just through my love for music. I play house music. I really, really love to get lost in a really good beat, and also I love dancing. My life as a surfer has prepared me for Tropica Island of Treasure 10. Obviously, the surfing training as a professional athlete, I definitely have the advantage of understanding and knowing the ocean pretty well. Yeah, water's my thing. I took a break from the competitive world and I really just focused on healing and meditation and on the yoga aspects of life, and just went to really, like I would say, a spiritual cave. But I feel like I'm ready to climb out of the cocoon and get back into the competitive space and compete again.
Yeah, baby!
Oh, my husband's so excited. He's a great coach. He's been a very good rugby coach in the past too, so he's coaching me through the process like he would a rugby team.
Up, as fast as you can, over the wall, over the wall. If you're not first, you're last.
I'm so excited for her. She's such a sweetheart. Anyone who knows her is just such a softie. But, you know, she's a competitor, and so I'm really excited to see the competitive side of her come out. What I'd love to wish Roxy on this adventure is to have as much fun as possible, but don't be shy to compete. You're an absolute athlete, so go out there and show some teeth, girl.
We're gonna win. We're gonna win.
What I'm looking for in a team member is someone that's dedicated, strong, loyal, willing to do the work, and that can walk the mile with me. Competitive Roxy is ruthless. She gets what she wants and she goes for it.
What was your nickname when you played hockey?
What was your nickname when you played hockey?
Oh no! My nickname when I played hockey was Bulldozer, because I ran over everyone until I scored.
Want to compete with this awesome all-star? Then audition for Tropica Island of Treasure Season 10. Send your name to our WhatsApp and follow the link, or upload your audition video on socials, tagging @MyTropica and #Tropica for your chance to get a spot on the island. Buy a Tropica today and it could be you. Tropica, nothing smoother.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Oh, well, listen, this has been such a fun and exciting show, and it continues all the way through till 9 o'clock. Now, Tropica Island of Treasure, it is back, and it is back with a bang, because Season 10 is celebrating with an all-stars edition. I mean, we are bringing back some of your favorite past celebs and some of your past winners. And today we get to chat and jump straight into it. We're chatting to Afrikaans pop star and past contestant on Tropica Island of Treasure, Season 7, Television, Carlien van Jaarsveld. And we're about to catch up with her on what she's been up to since the last time we saw her, and of course to get some tips if you are still planning to audition and get ready to gear up for a smooth Season 10 with the All-Stars edition of Tropica Island of Treasure, and that's in a bid to win a smooth 1 million rand. Carlien, good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, julle twee, hoe gaan het?
Lekker. And it's so good to chat to you this morning, obviously, and I want to jump straight into it. Obviously, the treffers have been coming through thick and fast, but I want to ask you, what has your musical journey been like since we last chatted to you, obviously? I just want to catch up on that first.
Wel, ek dink mense groei en alles. You always seem to grow. So ek hoop almal groei en bly nie op dieselfde plek in hulle lewens nie. Ek het 'n song uitgebring, Fontein op die Maan. En dan is daar nou 3 nuwe songs wat ook uitkom so in 'n ry. It's like a trilogy.
Nice.
Ja, so ek sien nogal uit vir dit. Moes nou gevoel of goeie stil gestaan het vir 'n ruk en now it's like going again.
Life is happening again, and when you are ready to come and sing for us on the show, ons is hier vir dit. Ons is reg, ons wag
we'd love to have you.
Ons sal solank vir jou die ateljee reg kry.
Baie dankie, dit sal vir my baie lekker wees. Ek wil definitief weer daar kom kuier.
Oh, listen, we are ready to welcome you. Now, I know we've been keeping up with what you've been up to. I know that you've recently traveled with your kids to the Northern Cape, and you described it as chaos. What happened, and what are you going to miss most about being home when you are on the island?
Ja, kyk, ek dink enige ouer wat soos 3 of 4 kinders het, sal weet waarvan ek praat. It's like everybody has to go to the toilet at a different time. So you make like jy moet soos 35 garage stop hê. Jy's nog eers uit Pretoria uit en dan stop jy jou eerste keer. So dis nogal insane, en net as jy wegtrek by die badkamer, dan bly volgende een, dan die volgende een en nommer 2. So dis regtig, dit was so moeilik geweest, en niemand mag aan mekaar raak in die kar nie, want as jy aan iemand raak, dan skree die ander ene, en hierdie een wil daai storie kyk. So, net soos, as jy nie die hele tyd, en almal wil nie die hele tyd eet nie, maar al wat jy wil doen is vir hulle die hele tyd kos gee, sodat almal bietjie kan stil bly.
I can imagine with the little ones, like just like yap in the back of the car. Oh, well, listen, you survived that, you can survive the island.
Yeah, well done, you definitely
I can survive the island, I can survive anything.
Yeah, you can. Moms have that superpower.
Now, look, obviously, chatting about your busy schedule, it's filled with music. Obviously, you're getting the kids ready for school. Do you think living such a balanced life has an advantage in terms of being on the island?
Ja, ek dink nogal so. Ek weet nie, as jy so groot gesin het en jy moet 'n carrière ran, dan is jy nogal geneig om aan alles te kan dink op een slag. So ek het regtig vermoë ontwikkel om aan alles te kan dink. En ek dink dit is deel van ma wees. En ek dink dit gaan 'n baie groot advantage wees.
Yeah. I think just having kids on your own is enough to prepare you for anything in this world.
And you can multitask like no one else can multitask. Now, Carlien, I know that tonight you will be performing with a 4-piece orchestra out in Pretoria. It's a family show. Do you want to please tell us, especially our viewers, what they can expect to see, and are there any tickets available left for them to purchase?
Ek dink maybe is daar nog soos 10 kaartjies oor, I don't know. And there's not a lot left. Ek weet nie, ek doen so 'n bietjie, ek hou nogal baie van rockmusiek nog my hele lewe lank. So as elemente van dit in, daar's 'n vioolspeler wat vir my incredible is, haar naam is Raziella, sy speel saam. En ons het, ek vertel so 'n bietjie dieper stories oor Ella, my dogtertjie. I know a lot of people have been following Ella's journey and the condition that she has. So I will tell them a bit more about that in detail. En dit is altyd 'n fun show. Ek hoop mense geniet dit baie. Dit klink altyd vir my of mense dit baie geniet het. So ek hoop vanaand is weer so.
I'm sure they're going to definitely. When you're on the stage and performing, I think everybody's excited. Mzansi definitely wants more of that. Well, I think this is a great time to also remind Mzansi, of course, if you want to be a partner and be joining Carlien on the island, then you definitely want to get involved in this now. If you think you have what it takes and you want to be a partner of the All-Star Celebs, then here is a reminder of how you can join Carlien and all the All-Stars on Season 10. Now, online, you can send your name to our WhatsApp number. That's 082-857-8054. And you can follow the link or upload your audition video on socials, tagging @mytropica. And don't forget to use the hashtag Tropica for your chance to get a spot on the island.
There we go. And tell us why you should be chosen to compete with one of these all-star celebs, and you can stand a chance to win your share of a smooth 1 million rand. So those were the online auditions. Now you can also audition live when you can join us for the live auditions that's taking place this Friday. That's tomorrow in Sandton City in Johannesburg. And this will be happening for the entire weekend from Friday the 3rd of June to Sunday the 5th of June. And it's your turn to show us why you deserve to win a smooth 1 million rand. So you do not want to miss out on that.
Yeah, just a reminder, Zazie, the auditions do close on the 5th of June. That's Sunday at midnight. So hurry up. What are you waiting for? And make sure you send in your auditions by then or attend the final round of live auditions. And a reminder, it's happening this weekend, Sandton City Court Centre, and I hope to see you there.
Ooh, the island sounds like a good idea. You know what also sounds like a good idea? Putting our presenters to the challenge. It is the Super M Mug Cake Challenge. Now, that being said, we all know the best way to start your morning is with a Super M. Whether you want it hot, whether you want it cold, yes, you can have it hot. All you have to do is open it up, pour it, heat it up, and enjoy. And our presenters are coming through right now for the Super M Cake Challenge. Come on in, guys. Are you ready for this?
Not really.
Not ready.
Whenever I compete against Zoe, she's so competitive. I don't know if I'm ready actually, but I've got your comfort here.
Listen, last week Zoe stepped it up and she was brilliant. So if I was you, I would be so scared. However, this recipe, and this comes from one of our viewers. She is Rangila Haryanath, and I'm probably butchering her name. I apologize. But however, she commented on the Expresso Facebook page, and she said, very early in the morning, like how some people need coffee to start their day, I need Super M to kickstart my day. Now, there are so many different ways to enjoy each delicious flavor, including as a decadent mug cake that can be ready in an instant. Watch as we show you how in our Super M Mug Cake Challenge. All you need is a mug cake mix, a mug, and your choice of Super M. Well, presenters, nothing has ever been easier than this. Not all the ingredients is in front of you. Are you ready?
These are fun ingredients. I feel like I need to roll up my sleeve.
And we get to choose our flavor as well.
You get to choose your flavor.
Let's see who is going to take this cake. Are you ready?
This is the cake mix, right?
That's the cake mix.
I'm ready then.
This is the mug aisle. This is the water aisle. Do you need any other
explaining?
Okay. Ready, set, and go.
Okay, so I'm going to start with my wet ingredients with my eggs. Put a bit of water in it.
Do water. Last week she
bit of oil.
Killed Tabiso.
Let's add a bit of syrup, honey. I'm getting giggling from the audience.
Because Raul's copying everything you're doing, and I think it looks already like a hot mess, but it's okay.
I like berries in mine.
You see the berries are going in.
So I'm going to give it a nice coat with the powder first. How much time do we have?
Okay.
Just so that they don't sink to the bottom. I want sprinkles in mine. And then I'm going to use our Super M chocolate flavor.
Which flavor are you going for?
For chocolate.
Chocolate.
Adding all my wet ingredients together.
Okay, and Mr. De Mornay, what are you going for?
Oh, I think the vanilla is going to be good. Chocolate and vanilla, how can you say no to that?
Now, you, of course, can use any of the Super M flavors. We have cream soda, strawberry, I don't know what is. Please wash it, right?
I even have time to wash my utensils again. That's how easy this is, Jamie.
Wow. Zoe, yours is looking so great.
It's chocolatey. It's very Super M chocolate on chocolate on chocolate with berries and sprinkles. Although the sprinkles have disappeared.
It's okay. Once we bite into the cake, we'll get that sprinkles coming out. So Zoe's already on to pouring hers into a mug. Ryan is still stirring his things up. Who's it going to be? Who's going to take this cake?
See, Zoe's missed a pivotal step here. The better the whisk, the more aerated the mixture. It gives you that puffy sensation, which you will absolutely love in our
The more nonsense he talks, the slower he cooks.
You literally really lost this one, okay? Okay, it's going in, Jamie. Watch
Zoe
that.
even has
frame,
time to still close.
Look at that pizzazz. Look at that.
Okay, I'm going to give you guys a countdown in 10.
Hey!
9.
Slowly sprinkles.
8, 7, 6, 5. Wrap it up. 4, 3.
Take a long two. A long two.
And 1. And your time is out.
I even cleaned my desk.
Wow. Your time is up, Mr.
Yeah, I heard you.
I'm going to take off the two berries over there. No, I'm joking. So what you're going to do right now is pop this into the oven. Obviously, you are the judge at home, Mzansi. It is not up to me or up to Raul or up to Zoe. Zoe's even cleaning the station.
My desk, guys.
This is it, okay? So is it going to be Mr. Raul de Mornay with I don't know what it is? Actually, just explain to us what you did with this one.
So essentially, I've made a beautiful aerated chocolate vanilla infusion. I topped it off with just a hint of some fruit, some cherry and blueberry, and I added the cream before so that it can slowly just melt into that mixture. That's a winner right there.
It's going to melt. Okay, it's going to melt. Zoe's like, it's going to melt. Zoe, take us through your inspiration for this one.
I went chocolate on chocolate. I mean, you can't go wrong with Super M chocolate. And so I've made it with the berries and the cherries inside, so you'll get that when you eat. That little bit of a stickiness. And then, of course, who doesn't love sprinkles? I stole Raul's sprinkles. My sprinkles are in there.
I was looking for that.
Yeah, the sprinkles are in there. They're mine. Okay.
She's got to cheat to try and get an advantage over me, but it's fine.
And you weren't running out of time.
I know what's right.
And my desk is clean.
Mzansi, it is not up to me. We are going to need your help on this one, Mzansi. If you want that, then head it over to our socials and let us know who you think takes the cake in today's Super M Mug Cake Challenge. Is it going to be Team Zoe with a... or is it Team Raul de Mornay? I don't know what sound he's going to give us. But whilst you're at it, tell us which Super M mug cake you will be trying. And remember to tag at @SuperM_SA in your comments.
Okay, I'm now eating his blueberries.
Hola, Mzansi! It's going to be a hot day in the big city. Super M, anytime gap filler. Made with love by Clover. Oh, you can make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You are just in time because we are talking all things Tropica Island of Treasure, which is celebrating 10 seasons with an all-star season, and it is going to be back, and it's going to be amazing, bringing back some past celebs from previous seasons. And we are back with season 7 fan favorite Caroline van Jaarsveld, who's standing by with some tips on how your entry could win you and to be chosen to join the season 10 cast and be part of the Tropica Island of Treasure All-Stars edition.
Caroline, you still with us?
Yes, I'm
Yes.
still here.
Now, listen, I want to chat about the Tropica Island of Treasure competition. More importantly, we've got a great chance to catch up with you and the family. But let's talk about the season, because the competition seems tougher than ever. There are members of the cast that I'm pretty sure a lot of people have gotten their eye on. Is there anyone that you've sussed out to be some fierce competition that you know, oh, I'm going to have to step it up for this?
I'm definitely watching out for, Simmons looking out for Boyton Lee. I don't think, ek dink hy's nogal tough, maar ek moet sê, Sashi is ook, she's a very social player, I think.
And that's important with strategizing is very, very important. Now, Carlien, I know you have been through a lot. You have grown so much since season 7. What are you going to do differently round this time compared to what Carlien did in season 7?
Wel, ek sal net iemand moet kry wat kan help vleg. Because that's exactly the part where we couldn't, kon nie 'n mandjie vleg nie. So dit was nogal 'n groot probleem geweest. Dis nie maklik om so 'n palmblaar in 'n mandjie te vleg nie. And we had to put our balls on that mandjie to take it to the water. So that's where that's where it stopped for us.
Okay, so you're basically saying if someone wants to be your partner, they need to be able to braid a basket.
Yes.
Definitief, asseblief. Ek sal 'n mandjie vleg persoon van die straat ook vat. Ek soek net iemand wat 'n mandjie kan.
Okay, ons hou duim vas vir jou dat dit die geval is.
And I would imagine on top of that, Carlien, you'd also maybe want someone that has good memory, right? Because in season 7, I remember you saying that the memory challenge was something that you were not that great at. It wasn't your biggest strength. But I mean, with that being said, what challenges do you think you would need, and what's going to be most helpful this time around? Obviously, we spoke about weaving baskets. We spoke about memory. Is there anything else you want ticked on that box of prerequisites?
Wel, ek hou van 'n maklike mens, as ek dit so kan sê. Ek kom nogal baie maklik oor die weg met mense. Maar ek sukkel met mense wat so bietjie stif is in hulle persoonlikhede of so bietjie OCD wat ek because I'm not like that at all. Ek's nogal scattered brain. Maar dit gryp om iemand te hê wat 'n bietjie kop hou met alles, jy weet. Al waaroor ek kop hou is my kinders se dagboek en wat met hulle moet gebeur deur die dag. So hopelijk met daai memory building het dit my nou gehelp om bietjie verder te kom in hierdie season.
Oh, well, listen, Carlien, we are holding thumbs. Ek is seker van jy gaan die regte spanmaat kry. And this is going to be a very exciting season to watch. So we're wishing you all of the best of luck as you head into season 10.
Yes. Now, Mzansi, this is your opportunity. Of course, well, she's still on the line with us, actually. Let's say goodbye to her. But for you, Mzansi, this is something for you to say, well, to think if you have what it takes to be Carlien's partner or any of the all-star celebs, then here is a reminder of how you can join Carlien and all the other stars on season 10.
There you go. If you want to enter online, you can simply send your name to our WhatsApp number. This is a different one that we've been punting. This is just for Tropica Island of Treasure. It's 082-857-8054. And you follow the link or upload your audition video on social media. And remember to tag @mytropica and include that hashtag Tropica for your chance to get a spot on the island.
Now, don't forget, of course, you need to tell us why you should be chosen to compete with one of these all-star celebs and stand a chance to win your share of that smooth 1 million rand. Now, all you have to do is join us, obviously, for the live audition as well, but that's the opportunity to also head through to Sandton City. That's this Friday. It's up in Joburg, and that's just going to be happening for the entire weekend, right? So that's taking place from Friday the 3rd of this month up until Sunday the 5th of June, right? And that's this year. So your time is ticking.
Listen,
time.
It is tomorrow is Friday. There we go. And it's your turn to really show us why you deserve to win a smooth 1 million rand. So do not miss out on this because auditions close on the 5th of June, Sunday at midnight. That is the online auditions as well as the in-person auditions finishing on Sunday. So make sure you send us in those auditions by then or attend the final round of live auditions this weekend at Sandton City Court Centre. And we wish you all the best of luck.
Wishing you all of luck indeed. But that being said, like Mr. Carl Wasty always says, it's time to move the coffee tables. It's time for our entertainment this morning. And of course, we're back on the Expresso stage with the Flamenco dancers from Triana to Grenada. They are ready to deliver another heartstopper. And this one is called Kanya, danced by Lucia Fernandez. Take it away.
de nuevo. Y el corazón afuera enseñado dolaría. Porque volar no podía cuando más la pena. Y la conciencia a todo el mundo le pide a Dios la salud y la libertad, y yo le envío la muerte, no me la quiere matar. Todo el mundo le pide a Dios la salud y la libertad, y yo le envío la muerte, no me la quiere matar. Y yo le envío la muerte, no me la quiere matar.
Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness fever is still in full swing. Expresso has opened a portal to the multiverse, allowing you at home to be part of the spectacle. We'll be giving away 3 magical gift hampers to the value of 1,300 Rand. So, sorcerers, fortify your minds and pay attention. All you have to do is visit our Expresso Facebook page and tell us what you most enjoyed about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness movie. That's it. Competition closes at 12 p.m. on Friday the 3rd of June 2022. T's and C's can be found on our website, expressoshow.com.
Welcome back, Mzansi, your feel-good breakfast show. And carrying on all the magic right now and maybe getting you a little bit warmer. If you've seen those temperatures, it's definitely getting chilly. Now, June is all about celebrating the men in our lives, so we're going to take the opportunity to treat the man of the moment to a cozy knit that delivers snug warmth and stylish comfort. So here to take us through the latest in knitwear is our very own fashion editor, Knox Mafu, in the building. Knox, how you doing?
Good. How
Always
are you?
looking so incredible. Hey?
Yeah, I gotta do my thing.
This is just you, right? Just another day. Now listen, there's some incredible knitwear coming through. I'm dying to see what's happening and what tips. What do you have for us? Take me through the batch because I'm ready to redo my wardrobe.
You need to,
Yes.
and this is such a good time for men at the moment. We know Father's Day is coming up on the 19th, and what better way to kind of spruce up your wardrobe than with knitwear? And they've got such amazing options
What do you got?
for autumn, winter. So we've got the classic pullover, which can be found in two-tone or kind of striped colours. What I love about this is that it's playing between the neutrals, which have always been kind of a popular thing at the moment.
I actually wore one of those jerseys, not the striped one, but the three-toned one.
Exactly.
And it worked so well with my look. It goes with denim, it goes with white, it goes with brown shoes.
I love that you've brought that up. And if
Really?
you want to add, if you want to add a little bit more texture, you could try something like this. So even with an outfit like that, we can play with a little bit of the, the plaid that's coming in and a bit of texture there with the jeans that you're wearing already. So I'm really enjoying that. And the nice thing is that it's so easy to accessorize something like this. You can add a scarf just to add that extra layer of texture. And you know what I love about winter? Layering.
I was just going to say layering, and it seems like knitwear on knitwear is fine. It's perfectly acceptable, right?
Absolutely, and I'm so glad people are leaning towards that. Of course, I always say that any gent has to have a good polo neck.
Yeah.
So you've got the chunky one to kind of ward off the winter with a little bit of style, but this is more of a relaxed look. And then to elevate any basic look with your chinos, jeans, this is always a great staple and a great foundation for
And
layering.
gents, let me tell you, if it's anything to go by, whenever Jamie Lee Domber sees a gent in a polo neck,
I mean,
You've
Jamie's
got
got
it.
great taste. And let me
does
tell
indeed.
you, a black polo neck is a killer,
A look
honestly.
elevator indeed,
Exactly.
yeah.
Then we've got the kind of shawl collar look, which I love for more of an elevated 9-to-5 look. So you can get this in the toggle button, which is over here, or you can get it as a cardigan. And here you could pair this, let's say, with a polo neck this side, here maybe with a shirt or even a golfer, just to add that
There's
little
many
bit
ways
of
you
flair.
can wear that, and I like the fact that the collar brings this sort of like regal feel. So you can play it down or you can spruce it back up, and it works perfectly for a cold winter meeting, right?
Exactly. A cold winter meeting, you could go on a date, so you can really switch it up. If you were to add a blazer or a coat, it really is about how you accessorize it. But from all of these, really made with responsible cottons and yarns, which is always such an affirming thing. But they look great.
They
You
do.
can style them in various ways, which is so exciting.
Now listen, I want to ask you a question because I know there's a lot of guys out there that are aware of what might look good in its just on its own, but how do they put it together? Now, I know, gents, you're saying you can put denim on, but I think guys really need to see it in order to maybe be able to replicate it and buy into the idea. You got anything that you can show off for us?
I always have something in my back pocket.
You got the plug.
And we have a bit of more of a formal look. And we'll have our first model, Ishmael, come in through.
Look at this dashing lad right
This
here.
dashing lad is really the first example of how you can use layering for a more formal look. So we've got that polo neck, which I know I said was a very big staple. And this is the chunky one that we've used here. We've paired that with a great coat, and it adds such a great foundation to the outfit. You pair that with some chinos and some formal shoes, and you've got a look that's either ready for a meeting, date night, but it really has that formal structure on it in terms of the chinos and the coat. But then, of course, we get an elongated neck there with that polo neck, that chunky texture that we're seeing in the knitwear. So it really is a nice play of texture, but also warmth.
Yeah, one thing I must say, I mean, wearing some of these pieces, the coat just brings out such a good frame out of any gent's body. So it's kind of giving you that extra charisma. But on top of that, you were mentioning layers, right? And what I like about this, yes, there's layers, but at the same time, it's very subtle.
Exactly.
And it's got this chic sort of like just minimalist look at the same time. Less is sometimes more in this instant, and I think you nailed it with this look here.
Thank you. I think it's really great. I mean, the polo neck really is the star here. We're seeing that layer, that texture coming through. And I think it looks amazing because of that.
Nice stuff. Can I ask for maybe one more?
Of course.
Can we sneak in one more?
Exactly.
Let's bring in another dashing lad onto the floor.
Daniel, he's got our incredible, more casual look here, which I think also can still be elevated for a meeting. So here we're using the shawl collar cardigan, and what we've done is we've paired it with a golfer for a more relaxed look. Like I said, you could add a white shirt, but the scarf again becomes that accent of real comfort. You pair that with some chinos and more relaxed shoes, and we've got an outfit that is ready for a good morning out for some rugby or a meeting. looking, and you know, he's ready to dazzle people out there, and I think he looks really good.
I think this is a staple look for the gents out there. You could literally go anywhere with this look. I mean, like you said, playing a game, going to a meeting, even going on a date, it's going to look that good. Knox, thank you. I think we're ready for the season. I think we're ready for winter. I think we're ready to get warmed up. And of course, Mzansi, you too can stay warm and cozy this winter with closely knitted pieces. So you can get these items and more from Woolworths. It's in store, online, and of course, it's on the app. What are you waiting for? Get warmed up and get styled out.
Oh, well, listen, from fashion to food, we're about to fill up your bellies with a delicious recipe.
So, we've had classic fashion from Timby, classic cars, thanks, Chad, and we've seen classic hairstyles. And you, Michael? Classic.
A classic range from Clover. Timeless taste.
Made with love by Clover. Oh, listen, I'm salivating here already, because when it comes to chicken dinners, they're always being reinvented, but sometimes we just want a classic like this chicken pachetta. Now, it is lemony, there's some capers involved. We're topping it with a caper sauce that is so easy to make, and you will love it for a weeknight supper. And the best part is it is so quick and easy to make. So Jamie here is going to help me make this delicious dish for you.
And Zoe already called dibs on that. She's like, this is mine, everybody. I'm going to be making this. I'm going to be trying this. It is so easy. So we're going to start with obviously coating our chicken first.
We're coating with our chicken. So we've got some flour. We're going to add some Parmesan that's grated, some salt and pepper. I don't know, I quite like pepper.
Peppery,
we'll
yeah.
Just add a generous helping of salt, and we will give it a quick little move around.
And I also love that we're using chicken breast, because for me, chicken breast can sometimes be very dry, so if you are going to be coating it, it gets like that moisture into it, has a nice little coating around it. So that's what we're going to be doing with the Parmesan over there.
And Jamie, I'm going to hand you this.
So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking, let me see if I got something here, 2 spoons of our butter.
There we go. And of course, we are using our Clover Classic, which is our Mama Bake, which is amazing. And this one is a classic, ideal and versatile fat spread that can be used daily for spreading, cooking and baking, and it contains 7 vitamins, and it is made with a touch of clover cream for a smoother spreadability. So now you are heating that up.
So what I did is I also added some olive oil to it, just to have a nice little balance between the fat spread and the olive oil. So let's pretend that this was melted already. We're going to pop in our chicken breast. I'm going to just go in with my hands and just give it a nice little sear on both sides. Obviously, we don't have time to do everything, but what you want to do is completely seal what we did with that, the crust in it. So on both sides, you're going to let it just lay down on both sides. When you see that nice golden crisp brown, you know it will be ready. Okay, so can we swap this out?
Of course, we can swap it out. So we will do this. I'll give you this dish again.
Okay, let me take this out.
There we go. So you will cook this fully. You won't do what Zoe and Jamie's doing, right?
No, absolutely not. And then we'll have, so obviously what is going to happen is that reduction of the chicken will create this nice little flavor, some stock for you, but we're also going to add in our own stock. So we're going to add to this some chicken stock. That's also going in.
And that's going to reduce and really thicken up and become our sauce that you're making now, that you're going to fill with some capers.
Definitely. So then some pepper also going in, because we cannot have enough pepper. I mean, you said that you love some pepper in your chicken. And then we're going to add the capers on top as well. So this will ideally be your sauce. It's going to be all over that chicken breast that we've already coated. Oh, do you hate that?
Yeah.
Does it go through your teeth?
No, for me it's just, I have non-stick pans, so when people use metal and things that can scratch the non-stick, I'm like, here is a silicone spatula.
I literally went to dinner a couple of weeks ago, and a friend of mine was literally taking a knife in a metal pan, and she just kept cutting, and people was like, what are you big. So yeah, and I do
break
understand
the
that.
seal.
But again, this is quick and easy. So if you are looking to spice up your chicken breast, this is what you do. You have the reduction, you pour it over, and then you can actually just,
there we go,
scoop it on if you want.
We're not scooping that on because it's not reduced enough yet.
Okay.
But as you can see, you can serve it on a bed of mashed potatoes. Over there, we've got the thicker sauce, which is unbelievable, as you can see. And you know, here we are all about the classic dishes, and this particular classic dish is one worth repeating, and that's all thanks to the creaminess of classic Clover Classic fat spread. Now, with Clover Classic, you stand a chance to also win your share of 500,000 Rand in prizes, and to enter, buy any Clover Classic custard, dairy snack, fat spread, or mayonnaise, and WhatsApp that till slip of your purchase to 074 909 0000. Those T's and C's, they do apply and can be found at clover.co.za. It is a classic, timeless taste recipe, and if you want to get your hands on it, it is available on expressoshow.com. But if you've missed any of the steps that myself and Jamie really quickly showed you, we've got a recap for you.
Made with love by Clover.
1 in 2 healthy South African women suffer from iron deficiency. Speak to your healthcare professional about getting tested and treated for iron deficiency. Brought to you by FerryMed.
Want to win a taste of the smooth life? Buy a Tropica. Find your unique code under the cap and stand a chance to win your share of 100,000 Rand worth of Uber vouchers. If you find the word treasure under your cap, you'll win one of these 10 big prizes. A gas hob, a fridge, a clothing voucher worth 10,000 Rand, one of 3 Rest Assured beds, or one of 2 Uber vouchers worth 10,000 Rand each. You could also win a trip for 2 to the smooth Seychelles, or a whopping 250,000 Rand worth of prizes from Suzuki. So buy a Tropica today and you could win big. See pack details. Tropica, nothing smoother.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Yes, Mzansi, welcome back. Your Feel Good Breakfast Show, and what an incredible show we had. So much great conversation, so many great cooking segments, and of course, the entertainment has not disappointed. So, for the last time this morning, our flamenco dancers from Triana to Grenada are out on our stage for one last performance. Now, this one, Alegrias, danced by Araceli Munoz and Lucia Fernandez. This is something you're going to absolutely enjoy. Well, one last time, guys, take it away. The stage is yours.
Nave
caricia barba. Tiriti trau trau trau, tiriti trau trau, tiriti trau trau trau, tiriti trau trau. Ay, 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 que me no tenga tierra. Que están puestos en balanza dos corazones a un tiempo. Que están puestos en balanza uno piensa un día y el otro ríe de descansado. Uno pidiendo justicia y el otro pide que con los titirimundi que yo te pago la entrada, que si tu madre no quiere, ay, que dirán, que dirán.
Here's to the sweet taste of time off, celebrating the lust of summer, and to family memories made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.